We are live. Welcome to Baron and Sadist.
What up?
What's up?
So I'm just kind of chilling, doing my looking at trying to organize here. Just like going through, changing my schedule around. Because man, it's gonna like I feel like things are just changing so fast. You got to be ready to do anything. And the gyms are opening and back up tomorrow.
That's a good thing. That's always a good thing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Mine's already opened up though, which was actually pretty funny. You got to wear a mask though, but mine's opened up. And the funny thing about that, I was on a treadmill with a dude, and he took his mask off. He goes, "I can't do this shit." We
So how does that
treadmill.
work? It's like how do you expect me to breathe?
Yeah,
I'm
it's funny.
trying to do aerobic or aerobic exercise. You're trying to get into anaerobic.
Right? You mean right.
Did I get that wrong?
Yes.
Dang it. See, that's how you know. That's how you know I'm out of shape.
Cardio,
Yeah.
you mean?
Yeah, no, that's like anaerobic and aerobic is like when you're doing like actual.
Microbiology. Yeah,
Oh,
microbiology
really?
stuff. Yeah,
Oh, no,
aerobic.
that's
There's
also like
aerobic stuff
conditioning
and
and
there's
stuff too,
anaerobic.
right?
It's anaerobic and
Exercises.
aerobic, basically.
Oh, shoot.
Aerobic and aerobic. It's basically the different bacteria and stuff that you can find on the plates. If it's anaerobic or aerobic,
Oh,
it's
wow.
basically classified as
I
both.
could have sworn there was some sort of like there's exercises that are aerobic and then or no, there's
You're
like
thinking of
there's
you're thinking of what's the word I'm looking for? The ones where you
because
aerobics.
like
You're thinking of
when you no,
aerobics.
it's more like cardiac. It's more like stuff with like
Yeah.
when you can't get enough blood pumping or when you have to
No,
like your heart rate goes up.
it's I just said it. Dang, now you made me forget. Uh
Cardio
Aerobics.
aerobics.
It's called aerobics.
Okay, good. Glad we wasted that time just deliberating that. That was good. It just basically shows that I got to get back in the gym. I'm excited too.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
I felt like my content was better too when I was constantly working out. When I'm
Yeah,
constantly working, my content becomes kind of like very like serious because I'm always on edge. You know, every time I'm at work, I always notice something like that's just a huge red flag, or it's um, somebody like making a statement, and then the way that I kind of have looked at it now, it's like everybody kind of in the PUA community gets all obsessed with like alpha beta, that whole kind of thing.
hmm
But like if you are dating any Western woman, in order to do that, you have to be beta, like really beta. Almost
That's
like
I agree.
almost to be you almost have to be a woman like, and that's the thing. It's like I've even noticed some of the it's mostly just with older women, but they like just don't respect the guys that they're with
Oh hell
because
no, they
the
don't.
guys in order to get like pussy from them, the guys often have to just become really beta and really feminine just to get them to acquiesce and be like, all right, I'll give you a little bit. And
Yeah,
it's just such a weird or it's just a distorted dynamic because it's just the men trying to be trying to do what the women tell them and thinking that that's going to make them like them, and it's just like weird. It's something I notice all the time when I'm at work.
Mr. Forman's a trip.
Oh, hey, Mr. Forma. What's up, Mr. Forma?
Shit, it's 1 a.m. Just
Mr.
going live now.
Forma.
Now I'm going live. Late with Yam and Tico. Basically, that's
Tico
what it is
at
with
late
Yam and
night.
Tico. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
listening
Basically,
to the smooth
it's
voice of
hey, we're
Baron
better than
Yen and
Lily
Tico
Singh.
Tran.
You were better than Lily
Yo,
Singh.
yo, yo. What's up, my home dog and N words? I'm Lily Singh. I'm going to try to tell a good joke, and it's going to flop. And then I'm just going to talk about sex in my vagina,
And
and
I'm
I'm
a
going
lesbian.
to speak in Ebonics. Yeah, about how I'm a lesbian.
Oh, goodness
And
gracious.
oh, no encore. Okay, I'm just going to go eat myself into an ice cream coma.
You're simple. No, But yeah, I've noticed that too. You definitely, if you're going to date in a Western world, you definitely basically got to be beta, because there's no
Yeah.
point even trying to be alpha if you're a man dating a woman in a Western world.
hmm
You might as well just
And
be a
then
beta.
if you bring a girl from the south, from like South America, then she comes up here and then she's like, because I saw the 90 Day Fiance, they were like talking to their potential husband, and she was like, I just need more money, we need to move, I need an allowance. And he's like, okay, I'll give you a credit card. How much would you like? She's like, $1,000. He was like, no. She was like, $300. He was like, no. And then she was like, $200. He's like, okay. So in all of that, you get no manliness. It's all just following what the woman likes, and then
Well, the sad
anytime
part
she's
about
upset, he's always like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I upset you. I'm sorry," when
here's
it's
the
not his
problem.
fault.
Here's the problem with the Latin American women and American men. American men tend to try to treat Latin American women like princesses and treat them like they would women in the Western world. You can't do that.
hmm
You cannot do that in the least bit. You
Like I
got to
hear
be very.
the rappers talk about like, "Oh, I spent 10 bands to just so you could go have fun in the mall," and then like you always come back to me and stuff, and it's like, I don't think that that works. I don't think that that works with anybody. Like you just giving them a crap ton of money, like that doesn't really seem like that would be a valuable strategy.
No, it's not. And the sad part about that, that's where they fuck up also. Because the neat thing about Latin women is they only respond to you when depending on how masculine and or how steadfast and how strong you are about your response, basically, because they're not going to what they're not going to do, or they're not going to respect you if you like a good example, the
hmm
first guy. We'll go with the first guy. If she basically asking for money, he was to capitulate and give her money. The more money he gives her, the more respect she loses for him. You see what I'm saying?
hmm
Even though she eventually talked her down, the fact that he just gave her money for no reason whatsoever, without asking her reasoning, she basically lost respect for that guy.
Yeah.
That
Well,
guy was
like
already lost.
a beta male's relationship basically ends at the shit test. It's like your whole life is just
Well, no,
one
because
huge.
the thing about Latin women is it's not even a shit test as much as it's a
hmm
they're trying to gauge if you're strong enough to deal with their environment for the most part. You know what I mean?
hmm
Like you can't be some blue pill simpy motherfucker and they go back to their home country
hmm
and they get beat you get beat up by the neighborhood kids or some shit like that, or you get beat up by the neighborhood low level bully, basically. Like they can't respect you because you it's basically what I said about like gangsters for the most part. If you ever notice, like they're the gangster men, if you step on their shoes, they're ready to fight anybody and everybody at any given time. There's a reasoning for that. They're more likely to get girls than Chad and Tyrone are likely to get girls. You see what I'm saying? Because you
hmm
stepped on their shoes and are more likely to bust out in a fight because that taps into women's primal nature. What he's doing wrong is not tapping into her primal nature. He's fucking up. His whole entire relationship is going to be fucked up. You see what I'm
Well,
saying?
it's very compromised, and
It's
there's
very
no way to
compromised.
bring it back.
The sad part about that is that relationship's probably going to be that relationship is going to be a lot shorter than an American woman's relationship with him, basically, because he's not acting like a man, basically.
hmm
Latin women prefer and want a
Which,
man.
I mean, Western women, they're like, they like when a man doesn't act like a man, because they get like, I know that you've had this conversation as well with Rose Blades, and she said more so that there's fear, and you argued for hatred, like they hate men, so that's why they want to date men who are more effeminate. Because I kind of agree, because when a woman, like the women that are really like the worst are the ones that actually get a kick out of emasculating men. But
Yeah, and the sad
the
part
way
about
that
that,
certain men would look at them, if they are a good woman, with like the kind of puppy dog eyes, it kind of like teaches them a lot about the fact that they are valuable, and it gives them that giddy feeling inside. to see that like a guy likes them and is basically worships them and puts them on a pedestal. They don't know that that gets old very fast, and the more you have to put on a pedestal, put up an act, the more exhausted you're going to be in the relationship.
Yeah, true. And the sad part about that is like it's not the fact that it's not the fact it's not the fact that women in America, they don't get me wrong, they like men who are strong, but at the same time, if they can get a man that they can manipulate easily and get shit out of much faster,
Yeah,
they're gonna go
a
for that.
beta male. Yeah.
I mean, if they can
Well,
pretty
like
much,
a big, strong 6 pack, whatever,
yeah,
valuable beta male. That's who they're going to go
yeah,
for
they're gonna
later
go
in
for it.
life.
But the sad part about that is, even if they got a husband that's quote unquote a fake alpha, they're going to use everything in their repertoire or to their advantage to basically manipulate that man into giving them whatever the
Hmm.
fuck they want, whenever the fuck they want it,
Yeah,
basically.
positive or negative, because
Positive or
it's
negative, yeah.
they completely encompass what that man is aware of mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
But the only thing that would make me say that they would are afraid would be is if they're actually dating someone who is on the other end of the spectrum, like a super alpha guy who will kill you over a pair of shoes and stuff. It was just like, at least that's the vibe that that person gives off, which means she should do everything in her power to please him, or else
Yeah.
she might not be able to get another chance at getting this kind of guy ever again.
Yeah.
But
And it's
those betas will always be around. That's the thing. It's like they'll always have a ton of betas
orbit them,
just
yeah.
to choose from. As soon as she feels alone, she just goes on one of these sites and then gets immediate validation.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
the sad part about that is it's one of those things where, like, the difference between a Latin woman and a American woman is they basically can work with anything you give them. American women will work with anything you give them. As far as like how you act, because the sad part about that, it doesn't matter how alpha you are, it doesn't matter how masculine you are, it don't matter how dom game you are. In America, a woman's always going to manipulate you into doing what they want you to do for the most part. It doesn't matter how you look at it. If you're in a relationship, she's going to make a suggestion, you're going to comply with the suggestion whether you know it or not. Like a good example of women in the Western world, they'll say something like, I'm cold. Most men would get up and like either turn on the heat,
Yeah,
or if they're in the house, they'll turn on the heat, or they'll give them their coat. Basically, you see what I'm saying? That right there is very
I
subtle.
mean it goes very deep. I mean, like the way that like a lot of beta men operate is like they're just they'll create a system where they'll
Well, no,
try
it's
to
not even.
like
It's not even just beta men. Alpha men do this shit too. Alpha men always do this shit too. This is where a lot of alpha
mhm.
men fuck up because they do this shit. If a woman says I'm cold, naturally as an alpha, he's going to
Oh
think I got
yeah.
to protect my woman. Therefore, I'm gonna hand her my coat.
Hmm.
This is where he fucks up also, and that's the sad part about that. And it doesn't matter because an alpha male is all about protecting his domain and making sure everything is fine for the most part. That's what alpha males do.
Hmm. They're
Betas
very
would go.
territorial.
Oh
Whereas
yeah,
like if a woman just says like, no, I'm bringing this person over and we're gonna
no,
have this, he's
he's
like,
more
okay,
likely.
honey. Yeah.
Yeah, like that'd be a beta male. He's gonna be like, okay, honey, if you tell an alpha male that, like, I don't like that idea. That sounds like a dumb idea, basically. Um,
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the sad part about that is that they might go back and forth for a while, and one or two things will happen with an alpha male. They'll go back and forth for a while, and the answer will be no, and they'll stay steadfast, or they'll go back and forth for a while, and she'll pout or cry, and he'll say yes.
Right.
That's typically how that works, and that's one of the many things that I've noticed about alpha males. Like either it's happening or it's not happening. With a beta male, it's happening no matter what, if he likes it or not. Um, and that's typically how
Yeah.
that works when it comes to alpha males
I
because
kind of I like to think about it like um Jan from The Office and Michael Scott from The Office. Like Jan is the example of a woman that just controls the beta, which is Michael. So it doesn't matter if Michael Scott likes it. Jan will always get her way over
Yeah.
what Michael's got once. Like she even gets to like walk into the office and yell at her boss, and then Michael Scott's just like standing there in the doorway watching her yell at the boss, and it's like not intervening at all,
Yeah, and the
not
sad
showing
part,
any. Yeah,
yeah,
but that's the thing. I would so much rather have this situation where I'm alone than be a beta. But I mean, I don't think, I guess you can't beggars can't be choosers, or you can't really ask for something and then expect to have your cake and eat it too. It's like sometimes the beta just needs, or sometimes that's just the way that it is. Yeah.
yeah. But the sad part about that is what a lot of people fail to realize, or what a lot of people get fucked up in, or the thing that people get mixed up or wrong about the whole entire thing is like, alpha males still capitulate at some point in time in the
Oh yeah.
relationship. They bend and flex sometimes in a relationship. It may take a little bit longer for them to bend and flex, but alpha males end up bending and flexing. It don't matter who you are, it don't matter how much money you got, it don't matter how
That's
sexy
what
you
a
are.
that's what a
It don't matter
relationship's
if
all
you're the
about.
basketball
It's
player. It
like,
don't matter if you're one of the Hemsworth brothers. It don't matter if
mhm.
anything. You're going to bend eventually. It is what it is. I mean, and that's the neat thing about alphas in this day and age now. Like the alpha field goal post just move like ridiculously.
You're saying it's easier to be one, or it's hard, or like
It's
because I could agree that the term, or like this thought process around surrounding what's alpha
yeah,
or
because
not has been
the sad part.
changed.
Oh, that's just it. Like, um, the sad part about that is like, yeah, the definition and the field goal post for alphas has definitely like moved and shifted so far that it's fucking ridiculous anymore. It's like you wouldn't even recognize what an alpha is anymore in this day and age with all these women and shit like that.
Well, yeah, exactly, because
It's
it's like
way different. It's
they
way
do
different.
exist, but it's they do exist, but it's not. It's just not in as
It's not in the
so
same
strong of a.
it's not
Exactly,
in
it's
the
not.
same
It just doesn't
concept or
feel the same.
conceptual it's not in the same concept or
Mhm.
conceptual way that you believe an alpha male exists in this day and age. And that's just it. Like, because the sad part about that, at the end of the day, if you're an alpha male and you have to manipulate a woman into wanting you, you're not an alpha male. You're basically an alpha woman.
No, you're well. What are you saying? Are you saying that if a woman wants to show how valuable she is to you by doing things for you without you doing anything, that's what defines you as a true alpha
No,
male?
yeah, basically, if you don't have like a good example of a what an alpha male would be, um,
Hmm.
me, Tijuana, end of story.
Like you're just wandering around and somebody plucks you out of the from what you're doing. That's
Yeah, that would be an alpha male. Like that would literally be an alpha male. Like,
well, I mean, so then like then are the so you can be like 13 and be an alpha male because a teacher just says like, yeah, it's you.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
like the female teachers literally. And that's the sad part about that. Like all these little boy students that they're showing up in school. It's the sad part about that is like they're more alpha than the teacher's husband, because these heifers be married. Think about that, and they're trying to
Right.
bang 14, 13, and 14-year-old boys. Like, think about that shit.
I mean, that's the craziest part is that they're the ones that they're the ones that make the choice, but then we think that alphas like are the ones that are like always choosing, always going and grabbing a girl and just being like making out with her at the club or something.
Because if you're an alpha, you really don't have to go. You don't really have to go and do that shit.
You don't even have to
People
go to
come
a
to you.
bar.
Like, people come
Exactly.
to you. Like, and that's the thing that I've always noticed about people who always say, well, alphas just go in and they just point at a woman and they walk up to them. No, alphas walk in the fucking room and a woman just walks up to them. That's typically how that works. Like, just no. It's basically the same thing with a sigma male. A sigma male walks in a room. He's basically an alpha who just doesn't give a fuck. Basically, sigmas walk in
Yeah.
a
So
room. It's like singles
Like I
walking
said,
women
and
anymore.
that's
They know
kind of like
all
this
the
whole
shit known to
PUA.
one.
The whole PUA culture is like not only is it like obsessed with like sex and stuff, that it would never that you would never actually be able to have a relationship, but once you get into the relationship, you don't realize you're just literally operating as a beta or operating as another female with your mate in order to keep that status going of having a girlfriend, and that's like the only thing that you really can cling to if you're in one of those relationships, because it's like you have to put so much effort that you need to make it seem like it's a bigger deal than it really is in
Yeah.
order to like get that validation.
Anytime you have to put in that much effort for anything like that,
Oh,
you
it's just
fucked
not
up.
worth it.
Yeah, you fucked up as a man, basically. You fucked up as an alpha for the most part. Anytime you have to put in that much effort for shit, because like I've always said, I've never once in my fucking life ever had to ask a woman out on a date, ever, 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 ever. I've never once had to ask a woman for her number, ever, 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 ever. Because I look at it like this: if I have to
Right.
ask a woman for her number, then that woman's not going to be relationship material. She's going to be friendship material. That's exactly how I look at it. If I got to ask you for that shit, then you're not worth my fucking time, and you're basically a friend. You see what I'm saying? So I've
Yeah.
never once had to ask a woman for a number. It don't
Well,
matter
and
who it was.
that's kind of like that's a behavioral thing too, because then you look at the level of entitlement that a lot of like unsuccessful betas, if you could call it, have towards the whole dating market, that they don't even want to recognize like an outlier case, or you could even say the general case where it's just a man who doesn't look like what a woman's power fantasy or Christian Grey figure
Mm-hmm.
is like. And then you also have to look at the money aspect of that too, because what could make her attracted to that person who's not ideal could be something that you can't see because you're looking at it from like a not the perspective of what a woman wants.
Yeah.
See, like they look at a couple like that and they think like, oh, he actually found a woman that was loyal. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, no. It's more just like I don't think that's the a correct diagnosis. I would say it's more just like she talked herself into liking that thing that created that much value
Yeah, for
for
real.
her.
That's pretty much what it is.
Like
It's
she's
like
like, oh, I like big niggas now, or
right.
like, oh,
Yeah, basically that's
she's
what
like,
it is.
I
I like
love
big
my
niggas now.
sexy, like I love
Yeah.
my sexy rhino.
Yeah, like right. And the sad part about that is like, yeah, never ever, J Miles. I never had to ask a woman for a number. And the sad part about that, and people always look at me like I'm crazy when I say that. Like when I met Mina, I never asked her for a number. She literally gave me her number. The same goes for Deshari. When I met her, I didn't ask her for her number. She gave me her number. When I met the Cartel Princess the first time, she literally gave me her number. I've already told you the story about how that happened. That was pure
Uh,
accident. Um, but
yeah,
yeah,
she got
she.
pissed too. She actually got mad.
Well, no, when I actually first met her. I told you about the story when I was actually in I think it was it Acapulco or was it I was in Acapulco. No, not Acapulco. I was in
Were you Tijuana?
Mexico City for that one when I first met her. I was in Mexico
Oh,
City.
oh yeah, oh yeah. That was before she kidnapped you, right?
Yeah,
Right, right.
that was well before that. That was the first time.
Uh-huh.
That was the first
Cause
time
she
we got
got mad
together.
when you kidnapped her, or when she kidnapped you.
Yeah, she was
She
pissed.
got mad. She's like, what the
She-
fuck?
what you mean no? What
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
tell me no? Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, and then that's another thing is like, as much as you, because that's the thing is like, it's sad because as men in Western men, we don't really have a lot of men who will come up to our level of maturity because they're stuck trying to play favorites with the people who like act like girls, like little children.
Yeah. And the sad
And
part about that is
yeah,
a lot of the men now a lot of the men nowadays worried about what other people think of them, what other people say about them, and even the
dude,
men.
I'll be
This is
honest. I was just like talking with my family about it because I dress so gray. Like I try to dress like either wherever it is I'm at, just dress like the local people there, or
Hmm.
otherwise I don't really try to stunt. Like, granted, I like to dress nicely, but it's only ever for myself. Like, I don't do it to find
Yeah,
friends. I usually what I usually do normally was I'll not really have a lot of friends just so I can see how other people like click up and socialize and stuff, and watch what they're wearing and stuff like that, and then kind of just find my own style. Like, I choose a lot of blacks and reds though, so I
hmm
am I do. It's not like I'm like 100% super creative, like and I'm also not into brands at all. I don't really like certain brands, like, especially if they're like really obnoxious, like Nike or something. Like, I don't really
hmm
wear the big
And
brands.
and the sad part about that is you should always try to blend in as much as humanly possible, unless you're trying to stand out. It's very rare things when you want to stand out for the most part. You always want to blend in with your surrounding, because if you stand out, that's the more attention that you're going to get, and the more people that's going to be looking your way. And especially if you're in a third world country or another country, that's going to be people that look your way, that's going to be attention that you don't need or want for the most part when it comes to other countries. Um,
Right. It's not going to
and
be like an aristocratic kind of attention. It's going to be
oh yeah, no,
more like a, oh, let's see what you got.
yeah,
Let me
what you
get
got
that
on
off
you,
you. Come about those.
or women would tend to approach you, especially in Russia. If you're dressed a
Yeah.
certain way,
Or
women in
even
Russia
just
will
like,
approach
yeah,
you because they think you got money, and
people will try
now
to
they're trying
cut
to
you
finesse
deals
your
and
ass.
stuff.
They're
Hmm.
trying to finesse you and shit like that. If you go to an Arab country, you end up in the market
Like,
area.
walk
You
around the
walk
Latin community with like AirPods on. Somebody will definitely try to buy those from you for like
right,
$30.
right. And the sad part about it, if you actually end up in like an Arab country in the market district, somebody's always going to try to sell you some shit or cut a deal with you.
Oh
You should
yeah.
buy this. This is great. You know you
The
want
next thing you
this.
look over, your wife's getting like cream rubbed on her hand. This we're in the goo with the slick back hair.
Yeah, the Arab got to
You
look like
just
a lad and shit.
look like a lad. He's like, I can show you. Like, no,
Yeah,
please.
please stop. No, please not. Please don't. Like it's just stuff like that.
But you
And
gotta be confident. You gotta be confident in your significant other. Let her live her truth.
the sad part about that is like if she's your significant other, her truth should be you. Keyword: her truth should be you. But to answer your question, Los the Great, yes, I was. She kidnapped
Yo,
me.
what
She
up, Lust
kidnapped
the
me.
Great?
She kidnapped me. What are you doing? Running or jogging or something?
Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, she kidnapped me, Los the Great. She kidnapped me. Oh, goodness gracious.
A nigga's gotta get exercise somehow.
Right? There ain't nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it's just stuff like that that just makes it so crazy and makes it weird. Um, that's too funny, J Mouse. Your family just be tossing your ass under the bus to women. That's fucked up. What did you do to your family, pimp? For them just be handing out your number like that. But yeah, it's just stuff like that that just blows my mind.
And that's a bad pill for a lot of us to swallow, because if you don't fight your demons, you'll never know just how much your family is so much for you and so much
much
against you.
against you. Oh yeah, definitely. Your family is always for you and against you at the same damn time.
Yeah.
At the time,
And it's important to have somebody to talk to when you encounter that kind of stuff in life.
yeah, but
Uh-huh.
at the same time, it's often a bad thing when you got family members doing that stupid shit too.
Yeah, because it's detrimental to your progress
Yeah,
as a
definitely.
person. Yeah. Which
Because
I yeah, which I notice like a lot is a lot of people's main problem in life, but it's not always their main concern. Like,
hmm
that's what I realized is like there's a lot of projecting, and myself included, but like people who don't really know how to face that issue that comes up day in and day out because it's something that's so close to who they are. It's like their personal life, their family, or their work or something, and they don't like have a good connection. with it because they don't really like face their internal demons, like what they got going on with their parents or like with their family life. And it's like one of the biggest red pills that you can ever accept in your life is like there's things that like you're good at that your dad will never understand, or there's things that you wanted that you believe in life that your mom will always just have be able to get under your skin about. Like there's convictions that you can have, your mom would just be like, nah, and make you feel like you don't know what you're talking about. And
Yeah,
it's just like,
yeah, and the sad part about that, yeah, it's just stuff like that,
mhm.
and your family always like either your family either helps or hinders you for the most part. And to answer your question, Los, yes, she is really one. She's a real life cartel princess. She literally is a cartel princess. To be
Yeah,
exact,
he wouldn't name her that if she wasn't actually one.
she's actually a Silanoa princess. Yeah, she's actually a
What's this here?
Silanoa cartel princess.
My family, yeah, man. It's like and your personal information, all that stuff, all wrapped up into that. And
Yeah.
I've said that in videos before. Like a lot of my videos a few months
you
ago, where
sound
I'm
like
just like,
you sound like Kenner Kniff from Connecticut. You remember that Eminem song? That Eminem what's it called? Not outro. What is it called? The interlude.
how does it go?
Kenner Kniff from Connecticut because he said you're breathing. You sound like
Oh
Kenner.
yeah, because I like got in the car. I was like, I like jumped into the car. I'm like, after walking, I'm like, oh, I'm all out of breath and shit. Just trying to like get a fucking thought out, but I like can't. Hands up, can't breathe. So dumb. Cosmo.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Los. 9 times out of 10, if you have the mom or grandma like me, checking them will probably get the black smacked off your skin and you smack back into the black, basically. That's just facts. Yeah. Ain't nobody checking her mom if you got a tough mom.
No, you would not talk back to your mom. Like that's one thing I would like. That's one thing I know that women do to their parents, which is why I like all the time. But they never will take responsibility, or they never will have to accept the responsibility of it. But when I see guys talking back to their parents or their mom, I immediately see red flag because I'm like, that's what girls do. Like when I see them like the pair like coming through, and I interact with them, like whether if I'm working. She's always like, "No, mom, it's this or what? No, what are you talking about? You're crazy," and like that kind of stuff, and the mom never does anything about it because she's just like, that's my daughter, that's what I made that to do
Yeah.
that. But if a dude's talking back to his mom, like I'm just like, I have no respect, I have zero respect for her.
And the sad part
Right.
about that is like, um, that's when you know you actually grew up. That's when you know you grew up wrong. If you could check your mom, and
Yeah,
that's when you know you definitely grew up wrong. When you could actually check your mom and not have any repercussions and consequences for your
dude,
actions.
it's
So
terrible.
I remember the one time I checked my grandmother. I tried to check my grandmother one time, and she moved from one side of the house like she was fucking Dragon Ball Z and shit like that. She done flickered and shit. What was up in my face, and we were like, damn near like, or damn near our lips were touching. She grabbed me by my shirt and she goes to me, if you ever talk to me like that again, I will smack the black off your skin to the floor, and I will smack you back into the black onto the floor. Never said anything wrong to her again, ever.
Yo, I don't know how there's not enough words in my vocabulary, but that's happened to me more than once. So
Yeah,
I lost words when I didn't even have any words.
yeah,
Now I've
like
kind of
yeah,
evened out. Be like, okay, I accept that. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, love you.
yeah, and when it's basically what Jay McTowell said. I mean, not Jay McTowell said. I mean, JD Mal said basically. You pretty much know at that point in time you were raised by a single mother if you can get away with that shit. And the sad part about that is I've only said that once to my grandmother, and that was the very last time I said it to my grandmother. Because the sad part about that is,
Exactly, you're low. It's just like I would never. I would just. It feels bad getting cussed out by your mother. When you get cussed out by your dad, you're like, you know what? I agree with you, Dad. It's like you're like, dang, I deserve this.
Well, no,
But
it's
because
true.
already.
It's basically true because like that's what it is basically. Plus, we had a live stream about this where you actually admitted that you were, and he was in it, so he knows. um, and the sad part about that is it's not the fact that people are. It's not the fact that it's a bad thing. It's just the fact that it goes to show your personality and your character for the most part. And the funny thing about
Oh, the
those
human
type,
nature one.
yeah, the human nature
The
too,
human
yeah,
nature podcast. Yeah.
yeah, the human nature
That was
podcast that turned into a live stream because of the lonely underscore.
It's a good plan. That was a good one.
But yeah, and the thing about that is a lot of people don't realize that they're getting themselves into shit when they do that, and it's just like stuff like that that makes it so you actually understand the person better. Basically, basically just like the Human Nature podcast, you tend to understand somebody better based on their situation and how they grew up because human nature on how you were raised basically dictates pretty much how you're going to respond. And something I've noticed about that is the funny thing about stuff like that is when I actually said that to my grandmother, the irony to that, because I thought because I was my grandma's favorite grandson, and she referred to me as her son and grandson basically because she raised me. I thought
Hmm.
I can get away with doing shit like that when in fact I found out I couldn't. I thought my uncle would on the other hand because
No.
I remember I told the story about my uncle the one time he actually said some off the wall shit to my grandmother. She literally loose ass pressed this nigga and punched him dead in the face, then grabbed him by his neck and drug him around the table in the figure
Oh,
eight.
that's why he killed that dude. Thing.
She literally grabbed him by his neck and drug him around the table in a figure eight.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I was watching TV, and every
Damn.
time she came around the table with him by his neck, I would pick my feet up. I would just pick my feet up and like she wasn't dragging his ass around the table and
Oh,
shit like
that's
that.
another thing. Like just sneaking around. You gotta give that up to your mom. Like your mom is the one that that makes you learn how to like freaking go like act like a freaking ninja.
Yeah,
Because you do not want to
wake
you
her
don't
up
want to
or
spill. Oh, if you ever spill a drop of anything on one part of the tablecloth, you always spill everything on the entire pet tablecloth. That's
yeah,
how
definitely.
that's how you
It
feel.
doesn't matter.
That's how
Like
you
even if you
feel.
miss the tablecloth, you're always clumsy and you're always a
Always
klutz, so
goes,
you're
you're
always this, that,
fucked
and the
up.
other. Yeah, yeah.
And I just think in the back of my head, like, at least I don't have a bitch pregnant at freaking like 16 years old. But I don't know. No, sorry, I'm hating. But like, I think that's what you're driven to do when you get when your mom gets under your skin and stuff. You just start thinking like the
How you
most
gonna throw shade
crazy
on your mom
shit.
like that?
I'm not. I'm
Uh,
actually trying to boost her up because she literally teaches me how to like freaking manage myself sometimes.
it is what it is. I mean, moms want the
Mhm.
best for you, and they're always going to be hard on you. And even if it's your dad's always going to be hard on you to some extent, but your mom's always going to be even harder on you if you're a boy for the most part.
Oh yeah,
Especially if you're a
she's like,
minority boy, your mom's always going to be harder on you. And if you're an Asian
oh
kid,
yeah,
Asian or like Afro
yep,
Caribbean kid, they're pretty much raised by a tiger parent.
oh
Especially if you're
yeah.
yeah,
It's like
if you're if
you
you're
can't just like you can't get something. You can't get something which the English they call it like being successful, but like you can't be gifted with something and not expect a tiger parent to just like never let you do anything with it or let you be all complacent about anything. Like if you ever feel good about something, like oh I just got this, it was like an award or something. I got this thing. It's gonna be completely different. It's gonna be like
oh
well
yeah, definitely.
that means and you're just like why can't I just enjoy this little thing?
Yeah, like
And
if you get you get an
it
A,
teaches you how to meet up.
you get an A, they'll ask you why you get an A plus.
Yeah,
Like the fuck?
true,
Aren't you be proud
true.
of
They're
me?
like, bro, what the fuck you talking? And it's like if you ever try to argue with that, like, can't you just celebrate something I did that was good? They're like, oh hell no, why the fuck would we do that? And I was like,
It's
make you
like
feel all
stuff like
stupid and stuff. They
yeah,
make you
for
feel
real.
all
Like
dumb. They like make
they,
you feel like, why? Why would you ever think about yourself and feeling good about yourself?
and the sad
It's
part
just
about
like
that is like
fucked up.
it's
It's
basically
fucked up.
tough love, and it makes you who you are
Uh,
today for the most part. And it's the stuff like that that you may second guess yourself, but the sad part about that is they don't give you time to actually celebrate or love enjoy something that you do for the most part.
hmm So is there a difference between being like a mama's boy and then being raised by a single mother, or what are we even? Is that even a good distinction to make?
Um, you basically end up you both ways you still end up fucked up for the most part. If you're a mama's boy or raised by a single mother, you're going to end up fucked up either way. And it's not it doesn't really matter. Even if you
Uh,
have like a dad in your life and you're a mama's boy, you're going to end up fucked up.
so mama's boy is just like really bad.
Well, mama's boys are a step up from single mothers.
Yeah, pretty
Check.
much.
Yes, mama's boys are basically a step up from being raised by a single
Yeah,
mother for the most
yeah.
part. Um, and that's typically how that works because your mom the thing with mama's boys is you're being over coddled, overprotected, and all that other great shit. It'd be no different than everybody gets a trophy kids,
Yeah, that's fucking
but then when
exact.
they actually face some adversity, they have a meltdown
And
because they don't know how to handle
it's
the
not
shit
even
because
it's not even the
their
normal
mom
amount
handled them
of
for you.
adversity. Like how someone you would talk you say somebody talk to somebody about a topic, and they just look you dead in your eyes, and you're just like, that is some next level bullshit what you just said out your mouth right there. That's what a normal person would do. But
Mm-hmm.
when you live in an overcoddled world, you'll never ever see that person unless you fall off the wagon later in life, and it's like maybe you get into a relationship with somebody, and that's one of their friends,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And the sad part about those people, they
uh
tend to be those people that ends up being like the sensitive snowflakes, men, or they'll be the
right,
people that ends up being the criminals in jail, or they're basically a
right.
step up from being raised. Mama's boys are basically a step up from being raised by single mothers. So it's like single mothers, mama's boys for the most part. That's basically how that scale works.
Uh-huh.
Single mother kids that are raised by single mothers at the bottom, kids that were mama's boys, the boys that were mama's boys just next for the most part. It's typically how that works.
Right,
So
right.
and that's typically how that works for the most part.
Hmm.
You're only a step up from no matter if you had a father in your life or not, you're going to end up in a system. And a lot of those boys or end up being like serial killers, like Jeffrey
Yeah,
Dahmer was mama's boy.
I'm
Um,
thinking about that tall guy, that really tall guy that lived in his mom's basement, and then uh from like until very late, and then I think he ended up like decapitating her or whatever. But
yeah,
like
he was a mama's boy.
he always thought because he was a mama's boy. But that's the thing, like I think his dad was around for a little bit,
Yeah,
but then
it's his, it doesn't
she would
matter. It
just
doesn't matter if your
terrorize him.
dad's around.
She would just terrorize him.
If your dad's
Yeah,
around
yeah,
and you're a mama's boy, you're going to grow
exactly.
up screwed up. Basically, you're just going to grow up screwed up. It'd
Hmm.
be no different than the mama. It'd be no different than the mama son, the son wife, the son husband, basically. Or I think somebody made a video about that. I think it was Mr. Forma or somebody else
Hmm.
made the video about the son husband son or something like that. That's typically what a mama's. That's pretty much what a mama's boy grows up to be for the most part. Those tend to be the
Oh, he's
simp ass motherfuckers.
spouseified.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
specify
Exactly.
your
Hold on.
son basically, or you make him the center of your life or center of your world basically, and then your daughter basically gets pushed, second or something like that if you have a daughter, which really sucks when a daughter should be protected more than the son should be. Um, that's typically how that works. Then the son grows up entitled. Then he goes out into the real world and finds out it's just
People don't
not
like his
unicorns and
bullshit.
rainbows, or people don't
Yeah,
like him, or
yeah.
his mama likes him, but he don't like him.
Yeah,
And
YouTube's definitely not a good place for that person to go.
oh yeah,
Because
YouTube's definitely not a good place for a mama's
everybody
boy
be
to go.
like, everybody will call it out instantly.
Yeah, and that's the sad part about that. You don't want to be a
Mm.
mama's boy. You don't want to be a mama's boy in the least bit. Um, and that's typically how that works. But at the same time, when it comes down to it, when it comes back to the whole entire thing about relationships and shit like that, typically the difference between a Latin woman and an American woman is a Latin woman wants you to say no to her more often than not. A Latin woman will respect you more if you said no to her more often than not. If you actually been to her, cater to her, or been to her will at any given time, she'll lose respect for you in a heartbeat. It don't matter how good the D is. It don't matter how
Hmm.
much money you got. It don't matter if you're knocking her walls out. It don't matter if you're smacking that ass when you walk past her. If you're not giving any pushback to a Latin woman, I don't mean actually going push her. I mean like give pushback to her
Yeah,
behavior and
it's
or her
simple.
what she's
You're
asking for
on the
basically.
dance floor. She trying to dance with you. You just say no, not
Yeah,
dance with you.
yeah, and it's stuff like
She's like, what? Just but we just but I just but you.
yeah, and well, no, I mean you could dance with her, but the sad part about that means she's just choosing you basically. That's basically a choosy signal. She roll up on you and grind on you. That's a choosy signal.
Yeah, true.
But
It's true.
the thing about it is what I yeah, basically you can't do shit like that with women from
Hmm.
Ecuador because especially any Latin country you can't actually if she asks for something you basically got to say no. She'll respect you more for saying no. She's going to be upset, but she'll respect you. Um, and that's one of those things with that's the difference between an American woman and a Latin woman because what will happen is an American woman if you tell her no, she'll tell you well this other guy over here would do it for me. A Latin woman would just pout, suck it up, come back and be like okay I respect that. Whereas an
Yeah,
American woman well I got these simps over here in my box and they'll give me anything I want. So you might want to
exactly.
give me
They're
what I
like they
want.
try to one
Yeah,
up you,
yeah. They try to
which
one
is
up
like
you.
it's like doesn't make sense because it's like wait, if you respect me, then what would or why would you try to one up me? You never think about well, why am I being one up? But then that's what I think is that's such a stupid thing that is it's ridiculous to call out on YouTube because it makes people will start to label you as something. But that double standard, where it's like you call something out, is like they'll make it they just ignore it. Like how that whereas if they call something out on you, it's a real problem. It's like you have a
Yeah,
serious problem,
and
mama's
that's what
boy.
and this is what it basically comes down to because and that's anything that I've noticed about women in the Western world and Latin women. If like I said, if you say no to a Western woman, she'll try to guilt you, shame you, and do all this shit into actually capitulating by saying stupid shit like, well, so if there's other men that would do it for me, or I got this guy in the DMs that say he'll get me it, or I got this other shit that
Yeah,
basically they'll
it's like
they'll try to guilt you into actually doing it or make you capitulate. And 9 times out of 10, this is where
it's
all the
like
alpha. This is
if it's
where all
gonna
the
take you that much effort to make me do something, then you should just leave me alone.
yeah.
Like,
And the sad part about that, this
honestly,
is where a lot of alpha males actually get it twisted because the alpha male in a relationship ends up going from being an alpha male to just folding like a cheap suit in America's now because like
yeah. I mean,
nobody in
I do
America is
that too. It's
100%
like
alpha male
if you
because
try
the
to
sad part
maintain
about that
frame, you got to realize you're on the plantation. It's like you can't maintain frame when somebody's whipping you and you're back,
yeah
like
like
when
shit
you're getting whipped.
yeah
Like
yeah
that's the
shit
fucking shitty thing about.
ask Kunta
That's what takes
Kinte.
so much composure to like live life is that
Yeah, like ask
everything
Kunta
is like
Kinte.
shrouded in irony.
What's your name? Kunta Kinte. They slapped him around a couple times. Toby. My name is Toby. Yeah,
Her
he
name
broke.
is Toby. Yeah, he broke. Has got a breaking point.
Yeah, everybody have a breaking point, especially in America, because men aren't really raised to be the proper alphas like they used to be. And like I said, the goalpost has moved drastically
Yeah,
on
for
what an
what
alpha
alpha is.
is
It's
anymore.
like anybody who just puts in a little bit effort into being more masculine is just an alpha. You're
Yeah,
alpha.
yeah. Now you're
It's like
alpha, basically.
if you
If you
give up,
if you
if
if
you
you
give
hit
up
on
on
women,
that,
if you hit
yeah, if
on
you give
women,
up on
you're an
that part,
alpha.
yeah, exactly. If you
If
give
you
up on that social construct, then you're a beta, or you're beta, or people can't crack you, they're like, oh, but you're not omega because omega is too weird, so we're gonna put you up in the category. It's like they always want to like try to give you a compliment to keep you around, but they also
yeah,
want to be able to have you there to trash at the same time.
yeah. That's
It's
typically
like they're
women
just
in a
they're
nutshell. They'll keep men.
frustrated.
I mean, women would have men around and give them the false sense of security that they want to date them, even if they don't want to date them.
That's fucked up, dude. The game
Yeah,
is so gangster. It's just a
yeah,
gangster ass game.
and this is the sad part about women. Women will red pill you without even red pilling you. Women will red pill you without even saying anything or firing a shot.
Well,
It's just fact.
that's because in America you feel like the carpet's been like dragged from under you because like a lot of guys are mama's boys or a lot of guys are children of single mothers. So it's like when if they get gaslight, they're like, but I thought women were just such majestic creatures and this sucks and like wow my life
No,
sucks.
they're not. They're more savage. Women
It's
are
not
more
much.
savage than men.
Yeah, they are very savage.
Women are more savage than men. Like I've only met very few men in this world besides myself that are more savage than women. Like I remember I was working with a girl and she said her boyfriend broke up with her. She goes, "Any man would have me." I go, "No, not any man. I wouldn't have you." And I literally said it with a straight ass face, and she felt some type of way, and she
Yeah,
just
yeah,
I hurt her fucking feelings, and I shut her down
yeah.
literally.
Like
Like, no, I wouldn't
I
have
was
you. No,
working. I
no.
was talking. I was sharing something about my other job to the people that I was working with, and then the girl's like, "Oh, how can I get it? How can I get order from there?" I said, just order it online. That way, I don't have to see you." And she was like, "Oh, you broke my heart with that." She's like, "You broke my heart."
That's savage right there.
I was like, "Hey," I had to say, I was obviously joking. Like she knew I was joking, but I still got it out there. I mean,
Yeah. And
it's
sometimes you got to let it out there. So sometimes you just got to
yeah.
let them
Sometimes
know.
just because what it is like you won't want to you don't want to be all threatening and like alpha all the time. At least
Well,
if you
no.
ignore
Well,
that extra that construct, but you should definitely be more. You should definitely do something that would like make you laugh. Wait, I forget
Yeah.
what I was. I
And
forget I
and
was
the
gonna
sad
where
part
I was
of
going with that. But
and the sad part about that is that's not even an alpha move. That's more or less a sigma move right there. Order online so I don't have to see you.
yeah,
Legit.
exactly. I was just like, you
Legit.
just ordered online. I see you. She's like, damn. And then the people, my manager was watching, or she was like, wow, like that was funny. And like even
Right,
though,
right. Order online
and
so I
like
don't have to
people
see you.
can enjoy it without it being like a beat down match between like an alpha and a beta, like like or something. It's just not.
Or my favorite
Or two
line
alphas
that's
going at it. It's like watch an alpha fight a beta is kind of like stupid. Like I think there was a
yeah.
live stream where that was happening recently, and it was very weird to watch. But not, I don't think either of them were two alpha. I think they're both just beta. So beta.
And the sad part about that.
Shout out to lonely underscore, by the way. That's
Oh
the way that
god.
he says that very
Oh.
well. I learned to say
Um.
it from him.
Oh. But the sad
So
part of
beta.
no. But the sad part about that is the sad part about that is I think the most Sigma line ever said in a movie was Home Alone. Leave it on the doorstep and get the hell out of here. Home Alone, yeah. Remember that the old movie? Leave it on the
Uh huh.
doorstep and get the hell out of here.
Right. Bro, I just
And
remember pranks that the Macaulay Culkin would play on
yeah,
the dudes, and I was like, they're idiots. Like,
yeah, they
how do
gotta
you
be
not
idiots.
how do you not know? And it's like so stupid. Hate that. But I don't remember anything else. Now I just see Macaulay Culkin and he looks like drugged out.
Yeah. And that's the sad part. And Corey, you can love pretty women. That's it. You can love pretty women anytime you want to. There's nothing
Dude,
wrong with that.
I love Pretty Women. Dude, I love talking to them and just learning about how gangster the game is. That's like all literally the only reason I talk to them. I don't talk to them to like try to do relationships or hook up or do anything. Like that's like awesome, straight up beta shit. Like if I have to talk, like the thing is like the reason why I would have to talk to a woman is to figure out if she can't cook and if she can't uh have kids or if she's not or how many kids she has. That's the only time I would.
Yeah.
But the thing is if I have to do that, that's already just so way too much effort. Like it's not worth it. Then why would I have to if I have to actually use use my mouth to actually figure that stuff out? Oh, and that's why a lot of guys my age aren't really turned on by or not turned on or attracted to we're not really interested in dating women who are like over a certain age, like 30.
And the sad
It's
part
like a
about that
cutoff.
whole
That's a
entire thing,
cutoff date for a lot of guys, or
the sad part
28,
about that,
26.
nobody ever falls in love anyway. That's just some false shit, basically.
Exactly, right.
Nobody ever falls in love. Nobody ever falls in love in the least bit. And you fall in lust, but you don't fall in love.
True. Right. So then if somebody tries to reinforce like love, it's like, well, you can't use love as an excuse to not be prepared for things and not think things out clearly. Like if you that's what you think love is like, oh, it's a chemical reaction. It means that I'm, in a protected class because I was in love. I shouldn't be It's like, but a more proficient thing to do would be to teach people just to accept responsibility as adults and move on with the decisions that they make, and hopefully they don't make too many stupid ones in the future. But the love thing kind of creates the whole I can have as many partners and therefore children and therefore crossing vectors of
Yeah.
disease that I want, and
Mm-hmm.
then I don't have to pay for it. They're like, I don't know. No, I don't have to pay for it. And I could tell. I mean, dude, it's so easy for me to spot somebody who's like that, and then just avoid that person. And when
Yeah.
if you were to tell a woman about this, she would just think that you're projecting, that you're just
Yeah.
generalizing, and that you're hurt.
That's simply how that works. That's always going to be how it works. It sucks, but that's typically how that's going to work for the most part.
Yeah, because she can't. I mean, she obviously can't understand why she's drawn to a man. Like what draws her to a man? Because she'll always try to change it because it would make her feel good to know the real reason.
And the sad part about that is a lot of women who get into those situations, they're not in love with people. They're just in lust with people for the most part. I mean, because the sad part about that, there's a difference between the
Right.
difference between being in love and
Yeah.
being in lust with somebody is the difference between um a one night stand or dating some woman and she falls out of love with you after a certain amount of years or the sex starts slowing down. She basically fell in lust with you. If the sex don't continue or if it slows down,
Yeah.
she
Like I would
basically
even
just in
say,
lust.
I would even
She basically
say
is lust
like
with you.
a week, or if it's been it's like because some people have them at different intervals, but if it's ever infrequent,
Yeah, or
you
if it's like
know,
every other month, or if it's unless y'all live separately and or miles apart, like it should never really slow down.
yeah.
Worse, it shouldn't
Like I
slow
said,
down as much as
love
it.
is not an excuse for lack of preparation.
Yeah, for
Like
real.
if that preparation is lube, then it's lube. But if it's not, then I'm like, what? Like, if that, it shouldn't have to be. Honestly, I think I'm in the camp where it shouldn't have to be.
Yeah.
But that's just me. But
And the sad part about and the sad
yeah.
part about that and the sad part about that whole entire thing is like I was saying is the difference between lusting somebody is a matter of lusting and somebody falling in love with you is a difference between a woman wanting you and having sex with you and then the sex starts slowing down and eventually she breaks up with you and a woman kidnapping you in Tijuana. That's the difference between lust and love. It's like because if somebody's lust you, they're not going to kidnap you. They just want to be
No.
with you. They're going to try their best. They're not going to take the extra effort to basically do everything to actually get you for the most part. If they're
Yeah.
lusting you, if
Mhm.
somebody loves you and really really wants you, they're going to go above and beyond to get you for the most part.
So do you think that whole like trope of the deserted island, like a guy kidnaps a girl, takes her to away to a deserted island, and it's just super romantic? Do you think that that's actually possible?
It
Like a
don't
woman
matter.
would actually like that?
The sad part about that is, believe it or not, if a woman was on a deserted island with any man, it don't matter what the man is, what he looks like. Eventually, she's going to revert back to her primal instincts, especially if there's wild animals and shit like that. She's going to go back to her primitive instincts, provider,
Oh
protector,
shit,
basically.
I don't doubt that. I mean, see a lot of women on their primal instincts right now. Like they're
Yeah,
like freaking
like
acting
women.
like
What it don't matter. A, a,
predators.
guy, a guy could look like fucking what's his name Walter Cronkite If he's providing and protecting for her, she's gonna give up the pussy to him. It'd be no different than if women like it'd be no different than the women who lived in Asia during the Genghis Khan era. They were with their husband. All of a sudden, their husband was murdered, and their whole entire village was ransacked. And now they're with the Mongols. Now they're banging the Mongols. Now that's typically how that works. Their men
Hmm.
get overran and they're all dead. And now all of a sudden, they're willing to give up sex to the Mongols. Now, eventually, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they can, and they'll do it unless you interact with them intellectually, as Corey Steele was saying, and just give them nothing.
Well, the sad part about interacting intellectually is the more intellectual you are with a woman, the more a woman thinks she can take advantage of you. Because
Yeah, I
at
mean
that
take
point,
advantage of you socially,
oh, socially
but you can't
and
take.
and
Yeah,
mentally and
and
emotionally, basically.
yeah.
Um, I was just using him as an example. JD Mouse. Basically, if he looks like Walter Cronkite and he can protect her, and they're on a deserted island and they're stuck there, you best believe she's giving up the pussy to Walter Cronkite, looking guy.
Uh-huh.
As long as
Totally.
he got the stamina to protect her from all the other bullshit and the elements, it's going down. It's going down no matter what. Especially if she don't think she's ever getting off that island. It's just facts. Because the sad part about that is that's one of the many things that a lot of women in the Western world will bring up as an example for why they can cheat. If I'm on a deserted
Oh
island
yeah,
and I
if
can't
I'm
make
on
it
a
back,
desert,
yeah, that's that
exactly.
what if question basically. Or what if I'm stuck in an elevator and I'm stuck in an
Yeah.
elevator shaft and you'll never see me again? Is it okay if I do this? It's always that ridiculous, soap opera. If you notice all this shit that they
Yeah.
always come up with them with it is always some off the wall
Uh-huh.
soap opera scene, basically, like a Days of Our Lives type shit, or anything like that for the most part. That's the shit that
Like
women come up with.
yeah,
They come up
when
with
is
that shit.
anybody gonna like romantically stare into your eyes and stuff on a like on a
On a
plane, and
deserted
you're just gonna
island.
say deserted island, it's like crash
Yeah,
land, it's like we have to band together. It's like
yeah,
that sounds like Lost.
yeah. Here's a problem with that. Here's how it really works when a woman is stuck on a deserted island with a guy. They're stuck on a deserted island. He's built all the shit. He's gathered all the fucking food.
Uh-huh.
He got needs. She got needs, and needs need to be met. They're banging. End the fucking story. That's exactly how that works. There's no he's gazing into her eyes romantically. There's no candlelight
Ah,
dinner. There's no
no
romantic
love.
dinner. Yeah, no romantic shit. Basically, she got needs. He got needs. Needs are going to get met. End the
They're
fucking
banging.
story.
They're banging. Yeah, and then they always like want a dude to be super freaky.
Yeah.
And they like they want him to be. It's like they want him to be like the guy who wines and dines them, and they want him to be freaky.
What's up,
So it's like,
McDonald? When if you're still in here, I'm just saying what's up to you. Um.
and it's like if a guy wants to try to be both of those things to her, then it's like good for him. Like
Hey, what's up, Lord
do
says
you,
so?
pimp. But to be honest, it's not worth it to even be one of those things to a woman
Oh, it's definitely not.
if you're
It's
not
really not. It's
nothing
definitely not.
yourself.
Oh, it's definitely not. You might as well just hang up your fucking gloves and call it a fucking day at that point. It's like it's
Oh yeah.
pointless. It's a wrap.
Yeah, that's kind of why I like to choose to be a monk, like as much as humanly possible.
Sad part about that, that's just the way to go anymore these days. That is
Yeah,
literally the way to go anymore these days. And it's sad, but it's so damn true.
and Tom Hanks does cuck out in a lot of the movies.
Oh, he definitely does. I agree 100%
Yes,
on that one.
yes, JD.
Like he's a straight cuck.
Hmm. Will Ferrell's always an alpha. He's always an alpha slayer. He just destroys like the other guys or semi-pro,
Or night
Anchorman,
or night at the
Talladega
Roxbury.
Nights, Talladega Nights, Step
Night at the
Brothers,
Roxbury.
Knives of Roxbury. Every single movie, he's just like the most dumb game uh, person in the whole movie, and like he could even be like a shit person, but everybody like all the girls in the movie all want to fuck him.
You mean from Forrest Gump to Castaway, basically.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, Forrest Gump to Castaway to Captain Phillips. He got cooked by Somali pirates. He
Yeah.
got like
Well,
his
he
boat
didn't
got
get
stolen from the pirates.
he didn't get cucked by Somali pirates. He literally got
So,
forced.
like, well, like
Now if it
the
was a
maiden
woman,
of the sea, his boat.
yeah, like
Yeah, if it was a woman, yeah,
if it's a
sure.
woman, then he'd be cucked
Well,
by
Captain
Somali
Phillips in real
pirates.
life has like an actual woman that holds him down, so it would have to be like he would cuck to piracy.
Hmm.
Like his vessel would cuck to piracy. But then there's also
You
the Da
can't
Vinci
really. The
Code.
sad part about you can't really cuck to
Does the Da
piracy
Vinci
unless
Code
your wife
cuck?
and unless your wife is on a boat with you and the Somali pirates are banging your wife at machete point.
Yeah,
Then you're
that's
cucking.
true.
You're
Yeah,
cucking the
a
piracy.
cuckoo can cuck another cuckoo. Let me stop. Let me stop.
Oh, good
But
lord.
good lord, I gotta go. Oh yeah, and that's another thing too. When like women cut dudes' dicks off or something, like Sada Abe, like literally
Yeah.
like strangled out her husband, who had an ex-wife, and just strangled him out, and I think kids, and like cut his his dick and balls off, put it in her coat, walked around with it. So it's like that's something that if you're a mama's boy, you're like, oh no, never, like, women never would do anything bad. Like if they're at a park playing with a kid, they're obviously the parent or adopted parent. There's no way
Yeah.
in hell that could be bad.
I've seen so many women kidnap other people's kids. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, man, and I hate that. I will never. The only thing I'll do in front of a kid is I'll like make like I'll like act like I'm mad, like do like a mad face or something, or I'll just ignore them. And when I do the
Hmm.
mad face, most of the time they laugh because they're like they'd be like, "What the fuck is this nigga doing? Like, why is he
Right? Who
doing
the
that?"
hell's this
I
nigga?
just
Why is this
do
nigga?
I just do fun. I always just do shit. It's like I don't like I see another person who does the same thing and he's super funny too. But like
Or so you're
the
a mess.
way that kids can can a woodcock cook if a woodcock cook? Okay, yeah, you are crazy. But when I see some of the female, and it was weird is like it gets worse if they're female coworkers or like the lesbian coworkers. Then anytime they get around the kids, dude, it's weird. It's like that Biden in the Area 51
Yeah. Yeah.
meme. They like get all close. Or when I see like one of these women and like they bring a dog in, especially a puppy. Oh god, that's just disgusting. Like they like they like let the dog lick all over their face. This shit is just like the weirdest thing ever. Like women and their attachment to cute things is sometimes it's just like the most morbid side of the red pill.
And the funny thing about that whole entire thing is like I've noticed when I'm in the store with my younger.
JD, that movie or Snatch or no, it's called Teeth. But
and
this
and it's
that's those kinds of movies, yeah. Or
and it's
Jennifer's Body.
oh her pussy's chopped off his dick. Oh, nice, interesting. Um,
Yeah.
the sad part about that is like I've noticed when I'm actually in stores with my younger children, like my Mina and Sarah or Laszlo, is I
Hmm.
tend to be very standoffish or overprotective of them when I'm in the store, especially if a
Oh
woman
yeah, you
walks up
got
to
to.
us.
Yeah, you
Like,
got to because that's where stores are basically a breeding ground for criminals in the
oh yeah,
new era.
definitely,
It's like that's
especially
where
to
they all
kidnap
hang
children
out.
and shit like that. It's
Yeah,
like,
because they're not good with money. They spend a bunch of stupid shit. Then they're back in the same place because they've basically created a subroutine of going to Target,
well, no, it's not
and
even
then
that. It's
they
more or less the fact that you got to worry about your children being snatched from the fucking store anymore these days
well
by
yeah, and
women.
Target always has tons of like toys and stuff up in there, like just like crazy. Up like they basically like that's where all the like kids love going to Target and stuff. Those kinds of stores where it
Yeah, and
has
the
like a
sad part
bunch of
about that
toys.
is like if you're a parent and you're in a store with your children,
Hmm.
you're more likely to have your child snatched by a woman than you are a man. It's just facts.
Or like yeah, if something were to happen to you, say I wouldn't say it's quite possible to a majority, but let's say someone pulls out a knife when you're in like aisle 17, and like they like come at you, and your kids are stuck on the outline or the sidelines watching. Like a woman could be like grabbing that kid to like pretend like they're protecting them, but they just like take them like that. It
Well,
just could happen because nobody's gonna look at that woman suspiciously if she were to do that.
I remember the one time I almost got into a fist fight with the police and a woman in a damn store because she tried to snatch up my son Laszlo.
Yeah, I believe it. And the
And
way
the sad
that a
part
lot
about
of
that,
them
and,
act,
and
yeah,
here's how sick the world is. Here's how sick and blue pill simpish the world is. They believed her before they believed me.
yeah,
Even though Laszlo
fr-
was crying, I want my
freaking
daddy. Basically, they believed
Ursula.
her, and she damn near got away with my damn child if the cartel princess didn't walk in the damn store. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
That's how cucked out
right.
police are. That's how
That
cucked
that's how
out this
cooked
world.
up that yeah cooked up the
Despite the
justice
fact,
system is.
despite the fact, despite the fact that they watched me walk in the store with my son, they watched me talk to him the whole entire town, now every damn owl.
It's a
They watched
child.
me interact with them and in the store on the camera, and they tried to let that woman walk out the store with my damn son.
Oh my gosh! And they always, because that thing, they're always ferried away from danger, aka the man, in any interaction. So it's like the chances of you getting, your kids not going anywhere, going the same place that you're going when some like a dispute happens are very high. Whereas
Yeah,
them going with the woman, more than likely, if not 100%, or
yeah,
like 99% likely.
and the sad part about that, like I said, a woman is more likely to take a child than a man. But they'll always display a man doing a crime. But the sad part about that is women are more likely to snatch your children than a man is. It's just facts.
True. Yeah. True.
I mean, and then on top of that, if
And
that happens to
they
you,
have that
if
story in
it,
Canada, I think, where it's like the guy was motivated by his his like supposed lover or significant other or partner,
mhm.
a female partner, to like go out and grab somebody.
And the
Oh
sad
dang
part
it! I
about
keep
that,
opening the door. I keep opening up the. Go ahead.
and
Go
the,
ahead.
and the sad part about that is what I'll notice a lot of times with that shit is,
Go ahead. You're continue with what you were saying.
and the sad part about that is what I've noticed with that when it comes to like that type of stuff. If you're put in that situation, it's her word against you. And 9 times out of ten,
Oh,
or
it
ten
is
out of ten
always her.
times,
Yeah. Right.
they're going to
It
believe
is always
her.
her.
They're going to believe her that it's her child, despite the fact that she has no proof it's her child, despite the fact that the child looks nothing like her, despite the fact that the child, like a good example of that, a good example of that is there was a incident where there was a white woman who tried to take a Latin child. She ain't speak a lick of Spanish, but she's trying to take this Latin child. Like, let that sink in for a minute. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know
Mm-hmm.
sometimes Latin children look like they might be half and half, so it could might be possible that she might be the
Yeah.
mother of the
Or
child.
that's another double standard because like women are not really, they don't have like a responsibility to speak in public because that was never like their main role. So it's like the if for a guy to want to keep his head down and not talk, it's impossible in this day and age because is everything is essentially a contractual obligation in the real world because of all the like the because of the litigious society we live in. So hi, how are you? If you don't respond to that, people will assume something nefarious in your intent.
Yeah,
Whereas it's not necessary for me to even acknowledge that. I mean, to acknowledge your greeting is very respectful, is very cordial. But to not follow up with like how exactly I'm doing at the very moment when you ask me it, I bet you should get some leeway to make it up. But the double standard is like for guys, like a couple of guys will see a girl walking, she doesn't have to say a word for this is normal. Like she doesn't even have to speak. She just be a woman, and people will leave you alone. Like, but to be a guy and to just like want to be by yourself and be alone, that's completely absurd. You're probably a serial killer. That's like the group. That's the category you get lumped in with, or you're a kidnapper of your own children.
yeah.
That kind
Hell,
of stuff.
like hell, I've been accused of that multiple times, and it pisses me off. But
Hmm.
it's like, okay, this is America, so it should be expected that I, should be ready to deal with this shit all the damn time. But the sad part about that is I shouldn't have to, but it happens, and it pisses me off to no end when that actually happens. It's like, dude, if you don't get the fuck out my face, I will burn down
Right?
your house. I will burn down this store, and I will burn down that bitch's house that's trying to take my children. That's exactly how I feel about that shit. Like, Everybody's house is getting burned down to the ground, or everybody's
Yeah, and
catching an
it's the
RPG
sad thing
rocket.
is like
Everybody's
sad thing
catching an
is like
RPG
the sad thing.
rocket.
I know, and there will never. And the sad thing is like the if Karen doesn't get her graduation balloon immediately, people assume that like a fucking RPG rocket's gonna come streaming through the pane, like the window pane next to them, and just blow everything up. When like literally nothing's gonna happen if Karen has to wait 5 more minutes for her grad balloon.
And,
Like
and,
nothing is gonna happen.
yeah, like literally. And the sad part about that is like they take a lot of
But if
people
you
for
piss
granted.
this other guy off that's in line, he will come back with a fucking 12 gauge and
Yeah,
blow
or
us all the
AK-47 and
hell.
shoot everybody up, shoot up the whole damn
So
store.
I would
And that's
get this
typically
guy
the
what he
thing.
wants and
Yeah,
not pander to Karen who just
yeah.
wants her balloon to make her, kid feel
Basically,
good.
Karen's just bitching and complaining. That's all Karen's going to do.
Yeah.
The sad part about that guy that's quiet with the hat on and the glasses, who just so happens to be like the youth counselor, the example employee, is nine
Oh
times that
yeah.
guy that's going to shoot up the fucking place is
Yeah,
going to piss him off.
he's like I'm sick of these people. Yeah, exactly. Like I have a freaking what's it called? Not your lumbar, but I have sciatic nerve pain. I have freaking like pre-diabetic. It's like I'm gonna kill some motherfuckers if I
Yeah,
don't get
or
if I don't get the
my wife
Snickers
is getting
bar.
on
I'm
my
gonna
nerves.
literally
My
kill.
kids need you, and my job is talking about laying people off. Everybody's got to
Yeah.
die,
Or when
basically.
you hear
It's always
somebody over
that
the
guy.
phone say like, "Well, I have to feed my family." Yeah, you gotta basically have to give that person anything that they want.
Wait,
They're
who was
basically
the guy in the office that had the glasses?
Dwight Schrute.
Yeah, like the white's always the guy that's going to shoot up the guys that look like the white with a hat on, or the motherfuckers that's always going to shoot
False.
up the fucking place.
False. I would sneak into the place and knife everybody silently with a 12-inch Bowie knife that I used to slay a bear. Bears. Battlestar Galactica. Bears. Bees. Battlestar
Basically,
Galactica.
the people that look like the white with a hat on in the store are the people that's going to pretty much shoot up the damn place. That's the most dangerous person in the motherfucking place. Period. Because they're always
Yeah,
the
it's
person
not.
that you would never.
It's not
It's always the person
Susan.
that It's always the
It's
person
not
that you would never
Karen.
think. You would
It's
never
not
think would do
Pam.
something like that. He's the youth coach, the youth group counselor. He's the example employee. He's the role model husband. He's the softball coach. He's the baseball
Mm-hmm.
coach. He's the basketball
Outdoorsman.
coach. The
Yeah.
outdoorsman. He does all that shit. And 9 times out of 10, he's probably the one that's going to shoot up the damn place.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's from all the concussions in his like world champion wrestling career.
It's not.
It's all.
You could be serious now. Like
No,
basically,
I'm serious.
and it's
Like there's literally there's a lot of crimes that come about due to concussions.
yeah, I agree with that one. But 9 times out of
Yeah.
10, Dwight probably didn't play football to get a concussion.
True. True.
Dwight's just a coach.
He's less concussed, which is why he's like less of a. I'm more worried about Angela. No, I'm just kidding. She is like a Karen. Angela was like Karen.
Yeah, and
She was like
it is
basically like
what it
older
is.
Karen.
Like and the sad part about that is like that's what you have to worry about in the society. And usually 9 times out of 10, Dwight probably was a mama's boy or raised by a single mother or all the above, or Dwight had a 2-parent household and he was a mama's boy.
Shit.
Basically, is what it is.
Yeah, like
That's
that's
the
the
person
thing.
that's gonna
It's like,
shoot up the place.
that's how the goalpost has been shifted too. It's like alpha. It's like you have to like own land and be a cattle rancher, and then you'd be like knowing how to like do a bunch of like sick craftsmanship shit. But like now you don't even need, or that's what we consider it now. Is like being like an entrepreneur. Like an entrepreneur is like super alpha because they like make their own way
And the sad part about
and
that
stuff
is
like that. Yeah.
the sad part about that's not always true. Because the sad part about that, there are a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of business owners and a lot of CEOs that are actually beta.
CEOs. Oh
CEOs,
yeah.
CFOs, company presidents that are basically betas.
Mm-hmm.
A
Well,
good
there's also
example of
ones
that
that are
is
yeah.
a good example of that
Yeah.
is the original owners of YouTube were all betas.
Beta tube.
As a matter of fact, the owner of Facebook is a beta.
I don't think you can turn like a beta social media into an alpha or a place where alpha content is shown. Like if it starts out beta, it's just always going to be beta.
Another good example of a beta is Bill Gates, the owner of Microsoft, is a beta.
Or who's that other family that he runs with?
I know you're talking about, but I forget their name. But they're all betas too. He's a beta too.
A lot of betas.
Jeff Bezos is a beta. Jeff Bezos is a beta. Steph Curry's a beta.
Elon Musk. Oh yeah, Steph Curry's a huge beta. Beta.
Elon Musk is a beta too.
Beta.
He's one of them beta alphas though. That I was speaking of in the video. He's a beta alpha for the most part.
Yes, he's a space beta. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
It's just beta shit like that for the most part.
I think I have to find.
True story.
Los
Sos.
Or Lord Sos. Well, we have a Los and we have a Sos.
Yeah, we have a Los and a Sos.
We don't have, but you guys are your own individual.
Well, no, because Superman isn't an alpha. Superman's actually a beta.
Batman is also beta. Where is this pedestal?
No,
I'm trying to find the pedestal.
Batman's actually an alpha, or Batman would be more of a sigma though. But Superman's actually a beta because he's Clark Kent at the end of the day.
Okay, 007.
Batman or Clark Kent.
007.
007 would be a sigma. No, 007 would be an alpha. Han Solo would be a sigma.
Well, it's like sigmas. I feel like okay, wait. So who you said was alpha? Who'd you say was alpha? Freaking
James Bond's an alpha.
Okay, yeah, James Bond. Okay, James Bond's an alpha, but Han Solo's a sigma.
Yeah, Han Solo's a sigma. Because obviously he didn't stay long with
and
Princess
then
Leia.
Darth Vader. So Darth Vader is a beta.
Darth Vader is a beta.
Sadly. Yeah, Darth Beta.
Darth Beta. Definitely.
Darth Beta. All right, I'm gonna change my name to that next live stream. Be Darth Beta.
Darth Vader is a beta.
Luke, I love your mother. Or Luke, I spoil your mother.
Luke Skywalker's a beta.
No! It's like, Luke, you are a beta. He's just like, no!
Yeah, Superman does kiss Lois Lane's ass because, like, if he was an alpha, he wouldn't have saved her when she tried to jump out the window in the one movie, or when she tried to jump out the Niagara Falls. Back.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Okay, so what about like this? Because dude, there's just such a stereotype, like the Spanish like soccer star. Her like their significant other always walks around and like with like a black eye or like a bruise or something, a bruised elbow or something. Like I've actually seen it in real life before, and I'm like, wow, he's a straight up alpha.
And the sad part about that. A good example of an alpha.
But he's not an alpha. He's a beta. Beta.
I know. The sad part about it is like, because I know somebody said that to me in a video or in a comment section about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's not an alpha. Magic Johnson is an alpha. Michael Jordan.
Oh yeah, he's like, I'm gonna buy this team.
Michael Jordan's a beta basically because
Darth Maul Sigma.
He was married multiple times and his wife left him and she got a nice settlement.
Darth Sidious alpha. Darth Sidious is an alpha. Like Palpatine is
Darth
alpha.
Maul is a sigma. Here's why Magic Johnson's is an alpha. Magic Johnson, if y'all remember, Magic Johnson was with his girlfriend. It wasn't ever his wife until later, but he was with her. He got AIDS. he didn't have AIDS anymore conveniently, and he married that woman. Think about that. You got AIDS, that woman stays by your side, and she marries you.
And your age disappears. Yeah, like age just disappears off the alpha. That's true.
You cheated on your wife, you got AIDS, and you married that. I mean, you cheated on your girlfriend, long-time girlfriend. You eventually get married to that woman, even though you had AIDS, and she sticks by your side. That is alpha as fuck. You got
She's
AIDS
like,
though.
I'll ride through the AIDS.
Yeah, literally. Like
She's like,
literally,
we'll
she's
get
going through
through
the AIDS.
this. We'll
Yeah,
get through
literally.
AIDS.
That is some alpha
That's
as fuck
fucked up.
shit right
I
there.
mean,
Megan
that's
Fox is
crazy
alpha
cool.
as fuck.
Totally. I mean, the
Like,
Flash was a beta. Green Lantern is a beta.
yo, Green Lantern was definitely a beta.
Yeah. Like if you could line up all of the comic book heroes, there's like a majority of them, the male characters are betas.
Yeah, definitely. A large chunk of them are betas. I mean, small majority of them are sigmas, and a small majority of them are alphas. Actually, actual alphas. That's the sad part.
Oh, and to relate it to Star Wars, like I almost think like beta is like kind of just like an easy, or is like you learn like the easiest form of lightsaber combat, whereas the more grueling stages of lightsaber combat is where you see the alphas and the sigmas.
Well, no, it's not even that. Like a lot of betas basically learn one lightsaber style. All the alphas learn multiple lightsaber styles.
Oh yeah, got it,
Or able
got
to
it.
actually transition through lightsaber styles. Like a
Or
good
a sigma,
example of the
and the sigma uses one style, but like better than well enough to like change up on a person who even has like an alpha too, like even an
well,
alpha
no,
lightsaber wielder
a
gets
sigma.
challenged.
The most one of the most sigma Jedi's was Mace Windu. Um,
C-3PO, human cyborg relations.
yeah,
I am such a
one of the
beta.
most sigma Jedi's was Mace Windu because of the style that he actually learned, and he went on to adapt it to make it his own.
Joyu?
Basically,
Did he
yeah, he
learn
basically.
Joyu?
I think he learned stout. I think he learned a couple different ones, but
Yeah, I
he
always
settled
forget
on
which one.
he settled on a forbidden one that's mainly practiced by Sith, and he went on to actually adapt it to make it his own, which ended up
R2
being like,
was an alpha. R2D2 was an alpha.
oh yeah, he was
Because
always
you
doing
think about
stuff
it,
though.
R2, like you think about like R2, he's basically at every pivotal plot point in the perceivable saga. Like he literally does everything. He gives Luke, or he gives like the rebels a map. He gives Luke, or he gives Rey a map to do shit. He's always in the ship when Luke was using the force, or not like you, but like was using the force to like shoot into the Death Star.
When Luke's ship got shot, he's the one that fixed it.
R2 fucking fixed the ship.
Yeah,
Like that's some sick shit. Chewbacca is just a beta. Like I actually pictured Chewbacca like
no,
Chewbacca
Chewbacca's
like
not a beta. Chewbacca's an
yeah,
alpha.
but Chewbacca no. Well, I think like Chewbacca, if Chewbacca were to split on go off by himself, he would change. He would switch categories.
Well,
Like
no,
in
because the sad part about that, Chewbacca's alpha for the most part. Here's why Chewbacca's an alpha: because it don't matter if he's with somebody or by his fucking self. He's gonna make that. Well, and I would say
yeah,
no.
shit does get destroyed whenever like Chewbacca
Chewbacca's
is
around.
around.
I would say
Yes, that's
Chewbacca's
true.
more of a Sigma than he is an alpha for the most part. But like, yeah, Chewbacca's always doing some shit. Chewbacca always got the best weapons.
Oh,
Chewbacca,
Lando is a beta. Lando's a beta. Oh,
Lando's
he's
a
so
beta, definitely.
beta, dude.
Lando's definitely a
Lando's
beta. Lando's
so
definitely a beta.
beta.
Yeah, Lando's definitely a beta.
Beta.
Um, but we're getting so far off fucking topic with this alpha beta shit.
Dude, it's fine. We were talking shit. I mean, I think we're just like it just seems just like really gossipy. You know, it's like that guy's a beta. But it's fine. We were talking about everyday life, but I literally see just shining examples of it. Beta. Like, and it's not just when I look in the mirror. It's like everywhere around, everywhere around me in everyday life. I see
No,
stuff like that.
Jeff Bezos isn't an alpha. If he was an alpha, he wouldn't be divorced right now, and Kenzie wouldn't be the richest woman in the world. Is her name Kenzie? Yeah, she wouldn't be the richest woman in the world. So Jeff Bezos is not alpha.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they tend to benefit the most from their decisions, and not like a woman would. I don't think a woman would ever benefit from like what an alpha would do. I mean, I guess if that alpha creates enough surplus, like she does benefit from it,
Yeah,
like tangentially. But like if she's benefiting from you in this in like more than 30% in the relationship, then you are a
yeah.
beta,
Especially if you get a divorce and she becomes the richest woman in the world, you're a beta. You're beta bucks basically. End
beta
of story.
bucks.
Yeah, and that's what basically Jeff Bezos was a beta bucks.
Because that like it's like the all the character that was gone in you was probably not there before. So you probably bought the respect that you thought you had or were getting, but the respect was going towards the money. It wasn't going towards you as a man. Like it's like that's a character thing
Actually, no.
that
Now that I think about it, now that you mentioned Omega, I would say C3PO is actually an Omega.
yeah, because he's like almost like in his own world, but like living amongst it in like Dionysian
Yeah, because
bliss basically
the
because he
sad part
just like
about that, he was
he has like directives that drive him to act and doesn't he don't really give a fuck about
yeah,
well he does give a fuck though that's the weird shit is like
he
he
does,
like
but he
actually
doesn't.
try
And
to help
the
niggas and
sad part
shit.
about C3PO is, if you ever notice, he was the one always translating every language for everybody in the ship.
Oh yeah, he right, he was very eclectic. He's kind of like a home he's kind of like I don't know, that gets
And it was very
homosexuals and
he
Omega
was
is
he was basically very he was very fluid. He was very fluid in languages. He was very fluid in technology when when
yes,
R2D2
it
wasn't
seems like you'll
around.
have to it seems like there's a force field and then they'd be
Yeah,
like
literally, he
Han
was like he
Solo would be
knew when the
like
force field. He knew
fuck
how to fix
yeah
shit.
right,
And
we all know that there's a fucking force field.
even if he got R2D2 to fix it, he basically knew what was wrong with shit. He was very tech savvy. He was very tech savvy. He was very uh, language savvy, and he's basically all that in a bag of chips. Basically, when it came to those things, so technically, he's actually
All right,
uh,
I'm gonna let you handle this comment. Like I know you just explained it, but he's trying to say if you're a businessman. Well, like what like Los though, like that guy, like why does
See,
doing business make you
no.
alpha?
Here's why Michael Jordan's not an alpha. Michael Jordan basically look. This is why I say there's a difference between Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson cheated on his wife, got AIDS, and well, cheated on his girlfriend, got AIDS, and now
Or
they're
like
married
James
and they're
Brown,
still
right?
together.
Like yeah.
There, he's an alpha. Michael Jordan cheated on his wife, got left. She got part of his fortune, and he tried to remarry again. And there's rumors of his second wife trying to leave him now. He's on his second wife. He's a beta. He's a fucking beta. It's
Yeah,
that simple.
he's a beta that can do a cool dunk, but I mean he's a beta.
He's a beta. He might be an alpha on the court, but he's a beta in life.
Well, that's a whole nother
I mean,
live stream.
it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you can be alphas are only situational. At the end of the day, there's only but so much that an alpha can actually
Hmm.
be an alpha
That's
in.
why you got to keep your. That's why you either keep like when you were talking about you um keep your daughters close when you're out in public because you never know when a woman could come and snatch you away. It's like that's like a situational
Yeah, there are
mindset.
self-made billionaire betas. Bill Gates, he's a self-made billionaire beta. Uh, Jeff Bezos, a self-made billionaire beta. They're all
Yes.
betas. They're all betas. You can't tell me that you're an alpha. You lose your wife and lose half your fortune.
Yeah. Well, like they're all exception. I mean, they're all like
And the sad part about
exceptions
that,
of what the alpha
yeah, and the sad
that
part
alpha
about that,
role model that you're describing.
Here's why Bill Gates is a beta. Bill Gates answers to his wife. Let that shit sink in.
Like, why should he?
If he's really an
Wilt was a
alpha,
beta,
his
yeah,
wife.
because I remember. Yeah, Wilt was a beta because I remember like him in an interview I read about him. He was like, man, wish I wouldn't have sex with all those women and like oh. It's like he was kind he always had like that kind of even though he used to like slay a lot of women, he's like, that was, I'm pretty sure that was pretty beta. Like,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he used status to
If
get
you're an alpha,
women.
you're not gonna
He like
cry
yeah,
about being. You're not gonna cry about being slaying women for the most part. You're not gonna
yeah.
have second thoughts about that shit. That's feminine behavior. It don't matter how cutthroat you are.
Betas are
Betas could
cutthroat
be
because
just as
like I said,
betas are
like
really
they're not. It's not like they are women, but
the
the way
sad
that
part
they
about that is
lead, the way that they use language is like
yeah.
manipulative. So they
The sad
will
part
fuck
about
you
that.
up.
Here's why betas are more cutthroat than alphas. Because
They will fuck you up.
a beta would actually cut a deal with your enemy to get the job done. It's that simple.
Yeah,
An alpha would just be
They're more people focused too.
the difference between an alpha and a beta is an alpha would do a hostile takeover. A beta would do a low key takeover and cut your throat and cut you out of the whole entire fucking deal. That's what betas do. An alpha would do a hostile takeover. A beta would do you know a low
Like
key
y'all
takeover,
seen in
a
the
sneak in
social
basically.
network where and the where
Russell Wilson's definitely a beta. I don't give a damn what you say. He's a beta.
beta. You think he ever says like when Sierra would say something like say something like negging him, he'd be like, "Bitch, shut the fuck up." Nobody was talking. No, he would never. I would probably
Hell
never
no.
say anything like that.
Anybody that's willing to date a single mother, that's pretty much a beta.
Like
I don't give a damn what you say.
here's the only way Superman would be alpha. Like if Lois Lane was like okay, so let's say he's in the office and he is Clark Kent. He is Clark Kent. But but then she says something as Lois Lane. He turns into Superman right there, and then just like grabs her, and then just yanks her up, and they go to the atmosphere. He's like, "What'd you say?" Like that's the only reason. That's the only way. He would be.
That's not the only way. The best way Superman could be alpha is if Lois Lane was to do some stupid shit like jump out the window or jump off Niagara Falls
He
like she
just
did.
let her
He
fall.
just let her fall. That would be some alpha shit. That would be some real alpha shit.
That would be really alpha shit. No, because that's beta still. That's what I still make the mistake. Because like if you try to do that whole manipulating tactics to like scare a woman, like you got to scare her into wanting to be around you and shit. It's like that's pretty beta, dude.
Nah,
Beta.
because he's not swap. Just because you swap, that don't make you a beta. That don't make you an alpha. Because there's a lot of motherfuckers. That's called just cucking out. If you can let
That's
your
just
wife
being
sleep with somebody
cucked.
else, you're just being cucked. End of
That's
story.
just being
I
cucked
don't
while
care
you
if you're a
cuck somebody
swinger.
else's.
I don't care if you're wife
Why?
swapping. You're a fucking bait. You're basically a cuck, which makes you a fucking beta.
It's like I just picture like two guys like, yo, dude, we're cucking each other out. It's so alpha.
Yeah, you're literally cucking. You're literally being a cuck if you swap out your wife. Because there should be no way in hell you should be wife swapping at all. That is some beta shit. That is some
That is
cuck
very
ass
beta.
shit. Like there's no.
It's like, yeah, my woman benefit or other people benefit off my woman. Yeah,
Think about
that
that.
makes me an
Yeah,
alpha.
like no, that's not just no, that's not alpha in the least bit. If
Mm-mm.
everybody's if it'd be no different than if you were with the Instagram thought and she's showing all her news to everybody else. You're basically a beta. I don't give a fuck
Mm-hmm.
how alpha you think you are. If your girlfriend or your girl is handing out news to every fucking baddie and they're paying her for news, you're a fucking beta because you're letting that shit happen, and that shit shouldn't even happen. Because in all technicality, if you're in a relationship, you're the only one that should be seeing her body, unless it's her fucking doctor. You should be the only one seeing her body.
Yeah.
It's just facts.
True.
And I would say Batman's more of a sigma than a alpha. JD Mouse.
Yeah, because he goes. That's why he has that's like the alter ego essentially. What this essentially is like it's kind of like Sigma because you have to look at how you
Batman
are when
itself,
you walk into a room.
Batman itself is a sigma.
The persona of Batman would be like an
sigma.
alpha because
No,
like
the
the
persona
Joker
of Batman. No, the persona of Batman is a sigma. The persona of Bruce Wayne is an alpha.
Yeah, right, because yeah, it's like Bruce just benefits from everything that his life inherits. Like he's always like Bruce is like seems like he's always going up.
Because
But like in the
sad
real
part about that, here's how you know Batman's alpha, and I mean Bruce Wayne is alpha. His name's on every fucking thing in Gotham City.
He is very fecund.
It's Wayne this, Wayne that, Wayne this, Wayne Conservatory, Wayne. As a matter of fact, I even think Arkham Asylum even has his name in it some damn where. Like it's just
Yeah, like he's always just paying himself. Like even
yeah,
when
literally.
the organizations do shit with like blood drug money, it's like it always goes Wayne, and Wayne's stocks increase like this
Yeah,
much.
Wayne
Like
stocks
what?
increase. Yeah, like
It's
he
pretty
bags
much
on every fucking
it's
thing.
all his
Matter of fact,
world.
the railway was owned
Commissioners,
by Wayne.
okay,
Was
so
owned by
yeah,
Wayne.
so but then that's the thing. It's like an Omega simp, like I feel like Batman did do whatever the commissioner said.
Well, no, he didn't
That's
do what
true.
the commissioner said because at the end of the day, he
It's
actually did what he wanted to do.
sometimes the
Because at the end of the
commissioner's
day,
values aligned with Batman's as
man,
well,
yeah,
so
and
that
it said
they like
sometimes it
benefit
didn't.
each other.
Like if the commissioner failed, he would actually go to Batman to actually handle the shit. Especially when he was about to lose his damn job, Batman saved his ass. It's that simple. Batman saved his ass when he was about to lose his job. And the sad part about that, before Commissioner Gordon was even Commissioner Gordon, there was another guy trying to hunt down Batman. Because he didn't
Yeah,
believe Batman should be a vigilante. He didn't believe in vigilante justice.
which is very beta. That's very beta.
He didn't believe in. Because the sad part about that, if Commissioner Gordon was as strong as he did, he would make Batman stop doing the stupid shit that he's doing by being a vigilante. It's that simple. So Batman was actually a Sigma. Batman did whatever the fuck he wanted to do.
That's true.
When he wanted to do it.
That's true. The Joker is beta.
No, the Joker's actually. The Joker's actually. I would say.
Beta.
I would say the Joker's actually Lone Wolf Sigma. Anybody?
What about
well,
Harley
no,
Quinn?
Joker,
Okay,
no,
let's back
Joker.
this up. Let's do this line by line.
Well, no, I would say the Joker's more so alpha, because all the iterations of Joker for the most part, he's either a boss, a crime boss, or he's either a loner, or he pretty much is the boss of an organization for the most part. Either way, and the sad part about that, if you can actually do stupid shit like push a woman off something and she still comes back to you, that's basically like the Magic Johnson thing. If you can cheat on your wife, your girlfriend, and get AIDS, and she still sticks around, and then you can marry the bitch, you're an alpha. He basically he always fucks up. He always
Let's
fucks
just
up.
talk about Future.
Yeah, he always fucks up. He always fucks up Harley Quinn, but she always comes back. He left her for dead, and she came back. Hell,
That's true.
I remember the one time he
That's
escaped
true.
Batman and left her to be captured, and she still came back. That's some alpha shit. Like,
Yeah, because he doesn't. I mean, Harley Quinn really doesn't benefit at all from being with the Joker.
she doesn't benefit at all from being with
She's
the Joker
getting
at all.
domed out, and like
She
she has to
Harley
wear like
Quinn's
a
basically,
uniform.
Yeah, Harley Quinn's basically the fall guy for the Joker, basically, and
She calls him Daddy.
Yeah,
She calls him Daddy. Like I don't think
what she
anybody
calls
calls Batman Daddy. Oh yeah, Sugar. Yeah.
She calls him Sugar Daddy. She
Yeah.
calls him Mr.
If
J.
Joker was like, hey, this is a plot to get at Batman. You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna have just like a bunch of guys like just go in on you, and then she'd be like, "All right, fine, I guess." Like
Yeah,
she'd
like,
just be like, "All right."
basically. Yeah,
She's like, "If it's to get at the bats, then anything, I'll do anything." It's
yeah,
just
literally.
like,
So
he's
Harley
like,
Quinn is willing to do
perfect.
any damn thing Joker asks him to do for the most part. That's what they do. Joker's actually an alpha.
He's a dog. Yeah, he is a real alpha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, that I had a thought because that's why I wasn't in the last room. I was working, but like the Bane, and this is really fucked up at a deeper level. Like Bane is because he is Latin in certain iterations, right?
Yeah.
Or renditions of the Batman series. He is like the revolution of Batman realizing his reality. Like he is like he dresses up in tights, which is almost like it's like pseudo erotic. You know, he wears latex basically.
Yeah,
like
he's
only like he's like
dominatrix.
he wants that desperately. Like I feel like he wants.
And that's the neat thing about the Joker. If Harley Quinn left him, he can always have a new girl. Hell, I think the sad part about here's the thing about
Does
Joker.
that ever happen in the comic books? Does he ever like get with another chick like Poison Ivy or some shit?
He's gotten with a bunch of chicks multiple
Just drop
times.
some pipe into Poison Ivy or like just like Rachel,
he's actually gotten with a lot of different women. But the sad part about here's the neat thing about the Joker that people don't know.
Up.
If Batman If Batman and Harley Quinn were both hanging off the side of a building and one of them needs saving, he's more likely to save Batman than he is to save Harley Quinn.
Be like, fuck Harley. I don't care if she dies.
Yeah, he's literally more likely to save Batman than he is to save Harley Quinn. That's literally.
Wow. Wow. And then that's so true because it echoes out into reality because like Bane literally tells Batman like straight up through body language like you're completely impotent in this society. Like you just do stuff to make yourself feel good, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna make you feel actual pain. Like you're a mama's boy, basically, is what he's telling Batman. Like you've been raised on Gotham's tit. And I'm about to rip you off that tit and break your back. That's literally what Bane does. And he's like, I will take you over. And like he's kind of like the assimilator.
Yeah. And then you think about Bane.
To Batman.
The thing about Bane's character is he's a weird character.
Yeah, he's very weird. I was just realizing this. Like I'm thinking back. I'm like, whoa.
He would much rather watch the world burn around him and not give a fuck about it burning and how it got there, basically. So
he knows nobody. He knows no one's going like in Wayne's world, like which is what it is. Like no one's going to actually make that happen, even though it is in turmoil. Like in a world where everything just benefits this one guy, and he's like the conglomerate of everything. It's like even the criminals are in it for Wayne. Like even the criminals try like benefit this one person, so he has to be like Bane has to essentially just tear everything down in order to actually get at Bruce Wayne, because he knows like nothing else is going to, no one else is going to stand up, and so he's like more of an anti-hero.
Yeah, he basically would be an anti-hero. In fact, I think Bane has his own comic book where he literally is an anti-hero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he definitely does. He definitely does. But he just tells up Batman straight up like
another good example of a person that has her own comic book that's an anti-hero is Catwoman. She's another one that she's an anti-hero.
But what's the But that's the thing. Like, what's the redeeming quality that Catwoman when she like nabs a jewel? Like, what is that? I'm pretty sure that's all self-serving.
Well, no, because she has comic books where like she's literally the hero and star of the comic book. Like she has a whole entire comic book line where she's by her damn self, and she's pretty much the center of attention, and everything revolves around Catwoman and some type of adventure that she got herself into by accident and shit like that. And she's basically an anti-hero. She's basically got to be the anti-hero of people for the most part. She's a hero, but she's an anti-hero. It's kind of like Deadpool.
Right.
But way more darker. Deadpool, way more darker for the most part.
Well, like, imagine if Deadpool broke the wall even deeper or just got super serious and was just like, why are you reading a comic book?
He does that all the
2020.
Time. Yeah, he does that all the time. And another
it's something that people don't get it because they're like, oh, he's just joking. But he's just like, nah, like, I'm actually trying
he's the fourth wall breaker, basically. And I already to that, what a lot of people don't know about Joker's actually on that same level, too, because they refer to him as super sane. Because
you really think that like Joker's made it like breaking the fourth wall in the most of the time when he's like speaking to Batman?
But like there's times when like Joker actually speaks to the camera or speaks to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
He's been known to do it quite often.
Yeah.
Like Joker's been known to actually speak to the audience or I'm speaking to my fans, basically. Everybody's here to see me. He said in the comic book, not Batman. Everybody's really here to see me. Like, and the sad part about that is Joker's probably one of the more popular characters in the whole entire series. I mean, Batman's popular because of his rogue gallery. That's the only reason why he's that popular. But the sad part about that, his best, most arch enemy is the most popular person in the whole damn story. And that's Joker. Like, you're more likely to run out to see a movie with Batman and Joker than you are to see a movie with Batman and Penguin. It's just facts.
Yeah. Like I don't know too much about the Penguin backstory, but it's like entitled. And like that's another thing.
Like,
Yeah,
and
but
it is what it
I
is
think
because
Newtown the
it's
Wind
more
brought it
like
up. He's like, my cousins literally create the downfall for my own empire, like the Penguin or like Victor Frost or whatever,
yeah. And the
or
sad part
like
about that,
these other criminals or the
yeah, and the sad
Joker.
part about that, the most popular character in the Batman series is Joker. The sad part about that, the second most popular characters are the women of Batman, the Batman series. That's the
So
second most popular
Catwoman,
character.
Poison Ivy,
Catwoman, Poison Ivy, um, Harley Quinn.
Harley
Like
Quinn.
all the women in that category are pretty much the most popular second most popular characters in the whole entire series. Joker ranks up there very high if we're not counting Batman. Basically, his rogue galleries is what makes Batman. Basically, so it's one of those things.
True. I mean, you wouldn't have Justice League doing all that stuff where he plots to
Yeah,
kill
Red
all of
Hood is
them.
also Red Hood is definitely a anti-hero. Um,
Oh, it's funny we got on this topic like
I
because
know.
we were talking about everyday life
Yeah,
and
everyday life
being
and
red
alpha and
pilled of
betas.
everyday
Yeah,
life
and then we
and
started
like
talking
how
about alphas and betas somehow, some damn way.
beta
How did it come up?
beta.
We're talking about Oh, I know how it came up. We were talking about something else, and we got into the alpha and beta thing. Then we try to go back, and we end up back on the alpha and beta thing again.
Yeah, we tried to go back. Well, that
Can
always it
society?
just
Let
still
me answer Los.
puzzles me.
Let's answer Los's question. Can society make
A
a natural
natural
alpha
alpha.
anything else? Yeah, we see it every day in this society now. We see it every day in the society now. The whole entire alpha narrative has actually been moved. The whole
Well,
entire
yeah, that's what
goalpost for alpha has been moved.
with a narrative like when men tell a narrative, we basically are trying to be as accurate as possible. But like when women try to make a narrative, they're trying to make it look as good as it possibly can look.
Yeah, and the sad part about that, in this day and age, a lot of men they try to paint themselves to make themselves look much more cooler than they really are.
True. And I mean, we use like social media the same way that
Especially
women
black
do.
men.
Yeah, that's true.
Talking about there's one dude I was over here
Hype
talking.
themselves up.
Yeah, I heard him talking, and mind you, I was actually helping out in a soup line basically. So like
Mhm.
me and my oldest two daughters were there in the soup line along with the church basically, and I heard this goofy nigga say, "Well, y'all can't talk to me like this. I don't really care what y'all say to me. I'm living in mansions with swimming pools and shit like that. Like nigga, you in a soup line? How you living in a mansion with a swimming pool if you in a fucking soup line?"
Yeah. And I mean, not that there's nothing inherently valuable about mansions and swimming pools, but there really is nothing inherently valuable about mansions and swimming pools.
How you gonna say that twice?
Like, because I
Like
mean,
especially,
just for
especially
repetition's sake, I mean, it's like
yeah, like especially if you're standing in a soup
it is
line.
good. It's good to drown your. I mean, don't get me wrong. It does feel good to drown your, any negativity you have just into a in ground pool, like under the ground pool. That's
Yeah,
nice, nicely
it's a
cemented, and
nice
it's
dream, but it's
heated.
not
It's
true.
heated.
It's not. It's a nice dream, but it's not true. Like, dude,
Yeah.
my church is serving you right now. You live in a mansion with swim pools, and you're at a soup kitchen. Really? Really?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we use anything to really like prop ourselves up, even if it's like something as silly as a label like alpha or beta
Hmm.
or something. But it's like we're just the reason why I brought that up is because lately I've been talking more like sort of quasi red pill stuff, and it seems like most people are actually more familiar with the term simp, beta,
Hmm.
and and cuck to a lesser extent, but like yeah, simp and beta. Everybody basically knows what that is already.
Hmm.
So and thought,
Hmm.
and then I'm trying to figure out if there's any of the other ones, but they don't know like hypergamy or like gynocentrism or like which I would never say. I would never get caught in public with glasses saying the word gynocentrism because I know I will get lit up.
Hmm.
But anyways,
Definitely will.
what else is there? Yeah, and I would never say it in the presence of a woman. It would only be like locker room talk, obviously. I mean, come on,
Los the Great. I think you mean Bloodshot, not Bullshot.
bloodshot. But yeah, we're gonna probably conclude this now that now I'm thinking about the movie like The Graduate, where he's just drowned, where he's just underwater.
Mm-hmm.
He's just literally chilling underwater, and then Simon Garfunkel music starts playing.
Mm-hmm.
that's why. That's why I feel like sometimes when I'm working, I'm like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." I was actually singing that, and then some woman started singing it with me, like a customer. I was just like, "Yep, she knows my life. She knows my struggle."
Mm-hmm.
And then, but yeah, y'all, thank you so much for listening, and thank you if you subscribed to my channel recently. Thank you so much, man. I love you guys. I want to say I love you guys so much. For 100 subscribers, I'm gonna have to do something. I'm gonna have to. Oh, okay, settle down. Yeah, you're not there yet.
Mm-hmm. Go get 100 subscribers. Keep
I
messing with
got,
me and shit. You see,
no, I
Stu
got.
Sherm got 100 subscribers fucking around. He had to drink on the damn show.
Yeah, the drink on the show. That's bad. You do not want to see me do that. I will throw up on the show. I will not. I will not. I will not hide it. But yeah.
Deadshot.
Any,
Okay, yeah, Deadshot. There's also Bloodshot though
Deadshot.
too.
Oh, Deadshot is a beta.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Oh
get. I
yeah, and like,
get.
and then Will Smith as an actor. Let's just go real quick, because I think you guys were talking about, you guys were comparing other actors to him, say like how he failed, or how other a lot of black actors fail. Oh, like Michael B. Jordan, how he's like failed at
He
becoming
was in
like the
Black
next Will
Panther.
Smith. I know, yeah, but that's basically, it was like basically initiated him, where he's like he went from Fruitvale Station to fucking the Avengers, and now he's gonna play. I think he's playing like Superman, like the Black Superman or something, or
Mm-hmm.
somebody. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So they're gonna use Michael B. Jordan, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like. That's fine. That's fine. It'd be cool to see like a Black Superman, but
I think. I
he would
think.
never be. He'll never be like a pimp Black Superman. He'll definitely still be like a beta Superman.
I think Don Cheadle's a better actor than Will Smith.
Me too. He has a lot of variety. He has a lot of variety.
Mm-hmm. Will
So I
Smith
like
basically does.
actors.
Will
They
Smith
have a
basically does the
variety.
same damn character no matter what it is. If it's drama, he's doing Will Smith. If it's comedy, he does Will Smith.
Nah, man. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Simple. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Simple as.
I realize that's something that really bothers me, because like when people are like, you know what I'm saying, man, like, you know, like they suck in with their teeth a lot, or they'll be like, man, you and me should go, man, go out sometime or something. I can like get
That's
my
some
dinner.
fuckboy shit.
Dude, oh god, like if I ever hear that in public, I'm like, wow. Somebody get this person away from me.
That's some straight fuckboy shit. If somebody does that.
Oh my gosh, so weird. It's like listening to a woman who's trying to like beat around the bush. It's like, dude, why don't you just do something, man? Swallow your pride to get her number, or do whatever, but don't do that.
A man that does that shit is like listen to a woman go like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I was thinking
Like,
about this.
because like,
Like,
you know, and if like feels like, you know, like I don't want to, right, yeah, like I don't that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh, and that is like an everyday thing, which is why it's good to meditate. You gotta use those meditation videos, baby.
mm-hmm.
Miles Davis now. I like that clip that's of Morgan Freeman when he's like, "Don't chase women, and they will come to you," or something. Like, I forget what he says, but he says
I don't
he
really
says
think
that.
Morgan Freeman. I don't really think Morgan Freeman's a good actor.
He just has a good like a voice, like a good narration voice. Like Simon
Yeah,
L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson to me has like more variety than Morgan Freeman.
yeah, he has more variety. Samuel L. Jackson does have more variety than Morgan Freeman. That's something I noticed about him.
Hmm.
And I will give him that.
He
I wouldn't
changed
say.
the
I
whole
wouldn't say
mood of, yeah.
he
He's
didn't.
just he's always like the wise trope, wise old black man trope. Like if he was in Shawshank Redemption, he actually was like going around choking people out and like murdering folks. And like, see, what you got to do is you gotta gut them in a certain way so that they don't get up anymore. And it's like,
That would
and
never.
he had like
That would be
a
Morgan Freeman.
teardrop tattoo.
Yeah,
I
that would
know,
be
right?
Morgan
I know
Freeman. Never.
he would never do that. But like Samuel L. Jackson could be that, and then he could also play like a wise old sage person.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson would be more like a typecast Morgan Freeman. I mean, not Morgan Freeman. Lawrence Fishburne.
Uh-huh.
Lawrence Fishburne has range too, and he always plays different things. And like he can play like the cutthroat person, and he can play the vicious person. But Samuel L. Jackson, the problem with Samuel L. Jackson is he's usually he's the typecast version of Lawrence Fishburne. But yeah, another good actor was the one black guy that played was it the Falcon?
Oh
The black
yeah,
guy,
freaking
the black guy. What's his name? What the hell's his name? What's that black guy's name? He was recently in another movie.
Let me get this stupid Keith Kenneth. I'll get that guy. Falcon.
Is that the name of his character, Falcon?
Yeah, Falcon. Marvel. There you go. And
is it Tom? No, is it not Tom? Sam Wilson. Is that his name, Sam Wilson?
Is it? Nah. Sam Wilson.
I think it's a bit stranger than that. Michael?
Oh, Anthony.
There
Mackie.
it goes. Anthony Mackie.
Yeah,
he's actually a pretty good actor.
I saw some interviews where he was just like, I'm very convicted about racial issues. I was like, wow, somebody actually who doesn't sound brainwashed, like a completely brainwashed.
Yeah, that's the thing I like about it. He's very real, and he's actually he's a very approachable black person too. But he's also a very good actor too.
Yeah, it's like it's a good. I mean, like, because that's the thing; they're not mutually exclusive. Like, you could come from a real environment, but still be approachable.
The black guy from Hunger Games. Really, that's what we're going with. The black guy from Hunger
Games. wait, no, that's not fair. That's not even cool. That's foul that you said that, because it's like the main characters in that movie are both white. So the black guy, you're obviously referring to like a side character.
Yeah, literally.
That one black guy.
To be honest with you, I would give John Boyega a title over him, a better actor over him, basically. I would say John Boyega.
What else has he even acted in? What else has he even acted in?
What, John Boyega?
Uh-huh.
He's actually been in a lot of other movies.
Okay.
He's basically a British actor for the most part, but he's been in a lot of movies and he has a lot of range. But Star Wars didn't do him any justice because Star Wars was the worst. John Leguizamo.
They just wrote his character so shitty. Like, they're like, what do we do with the black male character? Do we make him make out with the Asian girl? Do we make him fondle at the white girl?
Yeah, John Leguizamo is a very good actor.
John Leguizamo is a good actor. Yes,
he's one hell of an actor. I mean, he does drama. He does everything. John Leguizamo's the shit. Because he went from comedy, stand-up comedy, to hanging with the homeboys, to Romeo and Juliet.
Now he does buddy cop movies.
Yeah, buddy cop movies. But he was really, really good in Romeo. He played what, Tibbles? Tibbles in Romeo and Juliet.
He was really good. He's like a thespian.
Yeah, he was really good in that movie. Then he went from then he was in John Wick.
Oh shit! I didn't even remember he was in John Wick.
Yeah, he's in John Wick. Yeah. John Leguizamo's a really good actor. He's one of the most underrated actors too. He mainly does but the sad part about that is he might be underrated, but he does a lot of the Latin movies. He's always in a lot of the Latin movies.
That reminds me, I gotta watch that Gary Oldman movie that True Sherm suggested, The Professional, because I watched one clip. with the shotgun, and I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta watch this whole movie." It's
That was a funny
14.90.
ass movie. Los the Great with yeah, John Lake was. I don't care what anybody say. John Lake Leguizamo made that movie. That movie wouldn't be shit without John Lake Leguizamo. Legit. That movie wouldn't even be shit. That movie would be
To
bullshit without
Wong
John Lake
Fu.
Leguizamo. Yeah, that movie wouldn't be shit because
What is that?
the
I don't
rest
know
of
what movie that is.
what it had Wesley Snipes, I think it was Patrick Swayze, and John Leguizamo in it. John Leguizamo made that movie. If it wasn't for him, that like I said, that movie would be trash. It'd be hot dumpster juice if it wasn't didn't have John Leguizamo in it.
Yeah.
it would definitely be hot dumpster juice if it didn't have John Leguizamo in it. He literally made that movie. Where he played Kiki Rodriguez.
Yeah, if you type in LEGU in Google, it literally autocorrects to John Leguizamo.
Yeah.
That is how influential of an alpha John Leguizamo is. Wait, is he a beta in real life? I don't
Well,
know. It
no, I
doesn't
mean no,
matter.
because the sad part about Wesley Snipes and Patrick Swayze in that movie is they literally
Wesley and
played
Pat
off.
didn't
They
help.
literally played. Even though they were supposed to be like the main characters, they literally played off of John Leguizamo's character. They literally played off of his character. That's the only thing that made that movie any good. The fact that they were able to play off his character. Outside of that, that'd be hot dumpster juice. What do you say? Hot Arizona dumpster juice. Pretty much, yeah. If it wasn't for John Leguizamo, it'd be hot Arizona
Oh,
dumpster juice. Noxzema Jackson. That was a funny name. Don't get me wrong. It was a funny name, but if it wasn't for John Leguizamo, it would be just be a funny name in a lame ass movie.
man, you're making me want to shut. Like, if anybody deserves a pat on the back, it's the people who have to be near dumpster juice during this time period of like COVID and like
Terry
everything.
Crews isn't a good actor at all. Terry Crews sucks.
Terry Crews, he was like, "I'm sorry, my wife. I'm sorry. I watch porn. I'm sorry."
Yeah,
And like I'll never respect a person after that.
yeah, no.
Like, doesn't matter how.
It doesn't matter. Terry Crews is a sucky actor. Only reason why he's in the movie is because he can do simple shit, and he's a big black guy. That's about it. He sucks.
He does suck. Well, there's Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham, and I think Mickey Rourke basically made or where they were all in the Expendables. Like uh I think Mickey Rourke's like he's pretty good. He's more just like he just sits there and looks stoic, and that's pretty
He's a
cool.
method
I mean,
actor, basically. Mickey Rourke
yeah,
is
yeah,
a method actor.
yeah.
Jason Statham. I would say Jason Statham and Jet Li, and Jason Statham and Jet Li basically made that
They do
movie.
their own stunts. Yeah, that's they basically do their. I mean, I feel like
Yeah,
Stallone has
Jason
his own
Statham.
doubles.
Yeah, Jason Statham, Jet Li, and yeah, Jason
Mr.
Statham, Jet
Cruz,
Li,
too much.
and Mickey Rourke basically made that movie. Um, the only reason why Terry Crews was any good in that movie, well, no, Terry Crews was not good in that movie. But the sad part about that is like he basically played off of Jet Li. So I remember the scene where Jet Li says, "I should get paid double the money." They go, "Why?" He goes, "Because I'm half the size and I got to clear most of the damn land." Most of the land. Basically, it takes me more effort to clear most of the land, and I'm half the size and I do
Half
more
the
work.
size, right?
Yeah. So
Exactly.
Jet Li was actually pretty funny in that movie.
Jet Li just copped his shine. Like, you're tall, but I have more charisma.
Yeah, literally.
Just see Jet Li pulling mad bitches in the after party, and then like Terry Crews is like, "Oh,
Ray Liotta
got
is
a
a good actor.
fap."
Ray Liotta is definitely a good actor.
Yeah,
I would definitely have
just
to.
I don't think anybody who can do the New York accent or like the New York mafia accent is just a good actor. Like, you have to be pretty charismatic to pull that shit off.
Joe Pesci, Robert De
Joe
Niro.
Pesci, yeah, or even
Robert De Niro.
Steve Buscemi. Steve
Steve
Buscemi,
Buscemi,
like
yes.
he's a good example. It's like, yeah, he's a good actor.
He's a good mobster, too. He's a good funny
He's a
man
good
and he's a good
mobster.
mobster.
Yeah,
He's a good money man and a mobster, basically.
Yeah, the mobsters are always good at telling stories, man. But I'm not gonna
And it,
lie, a lot of mobsters were kind of beta. Like if you really think about it, like some of the pawns that the mobsters would use that interact with would all be just huge betas. Or like you know how but betas always get used at the end. They always take them at the butt end as a joke at the end.
mhm.
That's just the way it goes.
And if you ever notice in all the mafia movies, they always have authentic Italians. They don't have no fake Italians in there. They don't have some random white guy from Poughkeepsie playing an Italian. They always have like Italians in there. If you ever notice, like even the mob bosses, all the way down to the fucking
Except the movie The Italian Job, that was not done by Italians.
Well,
I
no,
don't think.
that was just a different story. That was just some bullshit. That really wasn't
That shit was bullshit.
that also wasn't a mafia movie either, though.
No, no, no,
It
no.
wasn't a mafia. I'm talking about the actual mafia movies, like your Reservoir Dogs and shit
Mm.
like that. They really always have legit Italians playing those parts.
Godfather.
Godfather had all legit Italians. I think there was
Hmm.
only one guy, but apparently, come to find out, he ended up being like half Italian or something like that. I think his mom or dad was Italian. That's why he had a weird ass name. But he ended up being Italian because of one of his parents were Italian.
Hmm.
Um,
This might seem off topic, but like the PS5 games, I'm really like questioning right now because they coming out with the Demon Souls remake, which I think looks pretty cool. But all of these other games seem kind of like like the SJW kind of thing is seeped in, or like the the storytelling where it's like diverse characters storytelling and stuff. It's kind of like seeped its way in, and it's just like it's turning it to where it's like there's a bunch of these characters I have to care about, which I really don't care about. I just want to play a game, you know. Yeah, like I'm thinking Lonely Underscore did make a video about one of the games that came out recently.
yeah,
I think it's
Scarface
called
wasn't. Scarface, on the other hand, wasn't a authentic movie for the fact that Al Pacino is actually Italian, not Latino.
Wait, Puerto Ricans played Indians in old Western movies?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
I did not know that. Was it just because Puerto Rican people were easier to find at a cast?
Well, no, because they basically were United States citizens, so they can pretty much just drag them on in. They literally played them, and if they couldn't find enough Puerto Ricans, they would get like a bunch of white people and then paint them in bronze face.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. I was just wondering like how logistically they got the Puerto Ricans to maybe they were
Easy.
like shooting.
Yeah, they basically went to. They basically said, "We need Indians, Puerto Rico, handle that," and they just sent some
They had the
Puerto Ricans
team on it.
over. Yeah, they got a team. They got
Wow,
just a team of Puerto Ricans on it. Basically, that's basically how they did that. That's typically how that works. That's or if they weren't,
unbelievable.
if they weren't Puerto Ricans, they were white people dressed in bronze face.
Yeah, I mean it shows that there's creativity behind it too. They're like, we have an idea, we need the idea to
The
work,
sad part
so
about
we're
that,
gonna
they
do
actually could
crazy shit.
the sad part about that they could have actually found actual Native Americans, but they went with Puerto Ricans instead and white people for the most part. Very very tan white people and Puerto Ricans is what they went with.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember seeing because you see the faces and you can tell by the facial structure they don't match the indigenous or like any of
Oh hell no,
the
they
people that
never
are
do.
trying to do it.
They
No,
never do.
never.
You're better. It's kind of like back in the day when had an Asian, they got like Jerry Lewis to play the Asian or some other
Yeah,
white guy
they're
to
like,
play Asian.
oh.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So like that was hardly ever really authentic.
Oh, I didn't even know it was that deep, JD, because I was just like, where do they get the ideas from? And I didn't realize that it's like, yeah, probably Anita Sarkeesian literally had a direct role in making the game. But yeah, that's something that happens a lot. It's like I try to enjoy something and I realize it's been tainted by just like leftist feminist like wingnut garbage.
It's always
Sucks.
leftist feminist wingnut garbage. Is all that's what that all it is.
Yeah, and
Feminism's
I try to
feminism's a failing concept, and they just don't want to let it go for the most part. And the
Yeah,
sad
like
part
all
about
the
it,
new
they
TV
will never
shows
let
are
it go.
about feminism. It's like, wait, the new TV shows about
They'll
it?
never let it go. But the sad part about it loses so much fucking money. Hollywood's willing to throw money at it and lose all their shirts off their fucking back. But
Yeah, they're willing to dip. It's like they're bet. It's like they're betting. They're betting on men
you know
being
what? Now that
stupid
I think
enough to
about it,
believe it. And I'm like, what
now
the
that I
heck?
think about it, now that I think about it, after having that one the one the one video from Trend Labs News that we were talking about finances and movie companies moving their money so they don't have to pay taxes.
Hmm.
All these movie companies, how would we know that's not a nice way to not have to pay taxes by losing money on all these fucking movies?
Yeah, it's like the financier has a more vested interest in the movie being a flop
Yeah,
because
like
it's just
literally,
like it's a good place to hide
they
money.
literally have
Yeah,
invested interest in movies being a flop because you can't really make money if you're losing money, and you don't have to pay taxes if you don't have any money to actually pay taxes on
yeah.
that
So
you
they're like,
lost.
ah, shit. That's kind of like they're like a tiger parent to feminist garbage because they're like, oh shit, they really made this much money on it. Like now means we got to funnel even more of it into the next bullshit thing that we do because it's gonna fail even more.
Yeah,
They're just
literally.
like, oh
Well, no, they're
shit.
not even a tiger parent. They would just be one of them parents like we're trying to. It's what not a helicopter parent.
It's
It'd
like
be
the pageant. Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like the pageant stars, like the kid,
basically
like the pageant stars' parents.
yeah, it's
What
basically
is
one of
that
those
called?
things
I
where like
think toddlers and tiaras. That's what it's called.
toddlers and
Toddlers and
tiaras,
tiaras.
basically, yeah. The sad part
Gosh,
about that is like they're drop. How do
stupidest
we know
thing.
if they're not dropping money in all these movies so they want to pay taxes and pay their fair share? Because the sad part about that is that's what a lot of people do. It's kind of like if you it'd be no different if you donated money. Now you don't have to pay money on now you have to pay money on the money you donated.
You don't have to pay money on top of the money you donate to charity.
Yeah, you don't have to pay money on the money that you donated to charity. It's basically free money that you gave away, and the money and it goes towards your overall balance, but you don't have to pay taxes on it.
Hmm.
It's basically an incentive to do so. But yeah, what do you mean by that, Los? That guy, damn Tico. He
Max
made that.
Sauce,
Yeah, he basically made a
aka
face when he said that. He made a shock face when I said
he
that. When I
said,
said,
"Damn, Tika."
yeah, I know he made a shock face when I said that about the movie business. Basically, how do we know if it's not a big ploy to lose money so they don't have to pay money?
Oh, I mean, it is a ploy. The only question is what is
What is the
the
game?
motivation? Because
Not having to pay taxes.
all of this, like home makeover BS, like where they take a person and they bring him over and they give him a lifestyle. It's like when they spoil a girl. It's like they set the. It's not like they set the terms of the agreement. It's
Oh, the
always
tax thing. Like,
like,
yeah, he's basically talking about the tax thing. Yeah, I just thought about that when we were talking about that. How do we know
yeah.
that
How do we know that
they're
that's not the case?
they're dropping money on movies that they know they're going to fail on purpose, so they don't have to pay their fair share in taxes.
And it is their fair share too, because it costs a lot to keep those studios up and running all the time
Mm.
with fresh coffee and donuts. You know, America runs on Dunkin'. That was created. I'm pretty sure that was
You're
like,
simple as hell. You need to stop.
guys, it's all Illuminati and the Dunkin' Donuts sign. It's the triangle.
You know what? Shut up. You simpleton. Simple as hell. This guy. Okay, what's it called? X Files over here and shit.
I never saw a single. I think I saw the one episode where it was like a skin, a bloody guy who was like pushing himself on a skateboard. But other than that, I've not seen a single X Files. All I know is that, and I know Scully or Mulder doesn't want to
Yeah,
believe.
they fucked up Harley Quinn on purpose. They fucked up Charlie's Angels on purpose. They fucked up Ghostbusters on purpose. They fucked
It's
up.
like what if Harley's strong and independent, then that just makes the Joker a beta, and it happened with like Jared Leto's Joker, and it's like he became just a beta. Just
No,
became such a beta.
Jared Leto's Joker wasn't a beta. He's actually an alpha.
Well, the amount of ammunition he used would make you think that he is
Well,
a beta.
because the sad part about that Joker's always been over the top.
That's true.
That like Heath Ledger's Joker literally blew up a fucking hospital. That was over the fucking top.
Oh yeah, that was a
Like,
crazy scene. That was a crazy scene. Yeah, that's when shit gets crazy in those Christopher Nolan movies. Like Bruce
mhm.
Wayne drives a Lamborghini or like something in through an intersection and the car crashes. That's where you know like Hollywood has seeped in like a little bit more. It's like, how can we up the production quality of this? Oh, let's do like a fake car insert, do some 3D or some CG, move the car, make him do the flip. Then it's a little bit more Christian Bale's face right there. There we go. We just get more money for that. Have to pay him because he's gonna want some more money because you know it's his full face. It's not just his mask. Which I think that'd be crazy if like
I would say that's a
all the
tie, Los. I would definitely say that's a tie between Heath and Jack.
I like kind of like Mark Hamill's Joker the most.
This is
Like it'd be
tie
like
between Heath and this is tie between Heath and Jack. However, I would say Joaquin Phoenix is a very very close second, if not tied with them, because that last Joker was a shit. It made a shit ton of money too. I think it actually made more money than the actual Dark Knight that actually had Heath Ledger in it. Now that I think about it,
he kind of
and it had less of a
set
budget.
that
It
up
had less of a budget.
with his performance in the Spike Jones movie. Like I thought that was like he probably took a lot of inspiration from the character Ethan Twombly or whatever his name is from Her,
Uh-huh.
because that was like even though it was more focused on his relationship with his mother, it kind of had that
I can see that. Yeah, Terminator, Charlie's Angels, Harley Quinn. They all flopped. Yeah, they literally all flopped. And where'd the yam go? I think yam just fell out. Yeah, Ghostbusters, Ocean's 11, Terminator, Charlie's Angels, Harley Quinn. Yeah, you name it, they pretty much flopped it. I think they fucked them all over on purpose, though, to be honest with you, because I can't see no other way that they can possibly make a badass movie and it flop like that, and they continuously make badass movies. It is what it is, but hey, that's a nice way to hide some money if you're always flopping shit for the most part. And yeah, it fell out. Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Batman when Mr. Freeze flopped too. Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't exactly the best damn thing for that position, basically. But I know that the when Jim Carrey played the Riddler, that did really well. Jim Carrey as the Riddler, that was a shit. But since Yam isn't back and he's not coming back, I'm gonna just basically end this last stream because we were supposed to be ending it a while ago. Y'all have a blessed night. This was Yam Baron. Oh, here he goes. Never mind.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, what
I was
happened?
like, where did you lose me?
You were talking about something and you basically dropped off. Basically, it's like,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was weird because I was talking about AI. I was talking about like how gangster the AI was in Her
yeah,
with because Scarlett Johansson. She was just like she did everything that a regular woman did, and she even was like basically like talking to other AIs and like other men and like falling in love with them too. Oh god, so gangster. And
yeah. I
that's like
think
what's
the sad part about that, I think Poison Ivy actually made that movie with Mr. Freeze. If it wasn't for her, that Mr. Freeze movie would have really been a drag. Plus, Uma Thurman did look good in that outfit. I will admit that.
Oh yes, yes, she did.
I wouldn't want to
She did.
bang her, but I didn't want to. She didn't look good enough to want to bang, but she did look good in that outfit. I will give her that. And she played the hell
Yeah,
out of that part too.
gotta go for the powers that would make it probably more fun. Like I don't know, like say like Kitty Pryde, for example. Like her power would be pretty tight. Or like Storm. You probably wouldn't have sex with Storm because you never know.
Nah,
Nah, probably not.
not a fan of
Not Halle
Storm.
Berry. Not the Halle Berry Storm.
Nah, I
No,
wouldn't even have sex with Halle Berry.
she ain't even, she's not for you.
Nah, I don't like Halle Berry.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Or like the girl who played the Phoenix or whatever her name is.
I don't like her either.
She was like, she was attractive for me when I was, but then when I grew up and then I saw that when she was in Logan, I was like, nah, fam, I can't go or whatever. The X-Men Origins Wolverine, I was like, nah, she does not look it.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like any. I don't like any. I don't think I like any of the women on that played in X Men. I don't like any of the women. I don't think I like any of the women
Yeah,
from
not really. That's what made it harder to watch. Like all like the X-Men trilogy is just like there's not really a lot of hot chicks in it.
Well, I think the only person that I found attractive, only women that I found attractive were the women in the Black Panther and the whole entire MCU. Those are the only
Mm,
women I actually found attractive, legit.
yeah, like the girl who's Thor's friend, Thor's the female Thor chick, whatever her name
I didn't
is.
find her attractive at all.
Not Natalie Portman, but the one girl. You know what I'm talking
I
about?
didn't find her attractive either, but I did find Shuri attractive. Shuri from Black Panther, Black Panther's younger
Shuri.
sister, the
Oh
smart
yeah,
techie
yeah,
chick.
yeah, yeah.
She was
Yeah,
attractive.
nice,
I
nice,
found her
nice.
attractive, and
If she could cook, it would be a wrap for your boy. I'd be like,
right,
oh man.
right, right. I found her very attractive. I found that's about it. That's about it.
He says, well, short. I'm telling you, it's a short list, if any.
Like for me,
You
it's a
gotta be
very
like,
short list. Shit, like I can't think of anybody else. Like, yeah, I can't think of
I'd rather
anybody
be
else.
with. I'll be honest. I'd rather be with like Bulma from Dragon Ball than be with any of those girls from the Marvel movies. She
like
like
I,
Bulma.
yeah, like I think the only person that I found attractive in the whole entire DCU was probably Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. Um, I wouldn't bang her, but I found her attractive. Um, but yeah,
Basically, I feel the same way. If I was like out in public, I wouldn't even want to be seen with like with the Flash. I'd be like, get this beta away from me.
well, no,
Like
and
the Green
the only
Lantern.
reason why I like Gal Gadot because she's very feminine.
I know,
She's
I'm
very
joking
very
though.
feminine. And
But
the
yeah,
sad
she
part
is.
about
Yeah.
that is I would pick her over I would pick her over what's the chick that played Black Widow. I'd pick I'd pick her over her.
Scarlett Johansson.
Johansson, yeah, I'd pick Gal Gadot over her. If I actually
Yeah,
had
I
to be
probably
seen in
would too.
public with anybody, I would pick Gal Gadot to be
Yeah.
seen in public with.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
Um,
sure, without a doubt,
yeah,
without a
without a
doubt.
doubt. But if I had to pick somebody to be my
Oh,
girlfriend
the
for the
girl
night,
for that plays Scarlet Witch from the Marvel movies.
no, I don't find her attractive at all. If I
That's
had to play
that.
somebody,
Uh,
if I had to
uh,
pick somebody to actually be my girlfriend on a red carpet gala, I'd pick Shuri from Black Panther.
well, that's an easy choice. I mean, like, if imagine if you're like Chris Evans' character or Chris Evans' position, and you're like, oh, they expect me to probably get in a relationship with one of these hoes, and then you're just like, ah, shit. And you'd be like, nah, I'm gonna choose the foreign model chick, or I'm gonna
Yeah,
choose
I'm gonna pick Shuri
Shuri.
definitely. I'm gonna pick
You go
Shuri
with
over.
Shuri.
I'm a
Oh,
Shuri
but
over
he would get
everybody
shamed,
basically.
dude. Or Shuri would get shamed if she was with Chris Evans on the red carpet at Met Gala because it'd be like colorism swirling. Oh, fucking blah
Well,
blah
no, because
blah. He's racist.
I think Shuri's actually dating a black guy. So I don't think in real life Shuri's actually dating a black guy in real life. So I highly doubt that'll ever happen. Um,
It's not a thing. It's not a
um,
thing.
yeah, but like if I had to pick a future wife and I had a
Starfire.
choice,
I'd rather
no,
be.
I'd rather
I
not date
would.
Starfire.
I'd rather not date Starfire because it's Teen Titans, man. They're like kids.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Let's not
That's
go
just
there.
wrong on so many levels.
Let's just not go there. It's like I'll go
Like
to Adult
if it's
Swim. I'll
even
go
if
to
even
Adult
if
Swim before I go to freaking like Cartoon Hour. Come on.
like even if it was the adult versions, I would still think of her as a kid. Like I just can't see that as sexy. Because when I first met the character, she was a kid.
Okay,
um,
let's say if you have to, if it's like related to combat, like which person, it could be anime, it could be or real or animated. Like which person would you choose? Which female character would you choose if it was like about combat? Like if you had to fight in a battle with somebody.
I'm picking Shuri. She's a tech
What
fucking
was her
genius.
shit? Oh yeah, she had like
She's a tech fucking
she
genius.
had like claws and stuff that she like tech claws and then like
Yeah,
shit.
she could do any fucking thing. Like, look, Shuri, I want a Megazord. Okay, I'll make that happen for you, Tico. There you
Beep
go.
boop. Knock that shit together. She's like, there's some samosa in the arm
Right?
compartment. You're just like, oh
Shit.
shit.
You're like, I want a vehicle that look like the Tico Trin logo on my channel.
Like just
Have
put
a
some
black
like
line with 4 flags coming out the back of it. They make you
just put
fly
some
and shit.
jerk chicken in the in the glove compartment.
Right?
Fucking the glove compartment microwave. It's just like
Right?
microwave shit for shit. I'm like, I need to have something that makes jerk chicken in the mobile. And then she's like,
Right?
all right, I'll hook that up, and it'll be like an AI based on my programming. So I'll put the love in it.
Mm-hmm.
The AI puts the love into the
Like I
food.
was saying, JD Mouse, like even still, I still can't really think of her as sexy because when I first seen her character, she was a kid, if you know what I mean. So I can't really find her sexy because when I first was introduced to her characters, I was introduced to her as a kid.
If I knew you, oh, that's such a stupid. She's like, if when I meet you, if you're not making double what I make, then it's not gonna work out. That's just
What?
such
Misty's a kid too. What the heck? Los the Great? Misty's a
Misty
kid.
from Pokey. Oh my god, dude.
Wow.
No, I'd rather be with a
Them some
Dragonite.
low, them some low standards there.
Those are low standards. It really
Shit.
is.
Those are some real low standards. You was better off picking the chick from Team Rocket.
Psylocke. Okay, Psylocke, maybe
Psylocke?
Psylocke. If she could cook, then I would be with Psylocke.
Psylocke?
And I would like
I'm not
I
sure.
would just be funny because I would see like Storm would probably be hating on the fact that I'm with Psylocke, and I'd be like, I don't care, Storm. I don't want to. I pretend like you don't exist. Just ignore you.
Psylocke,
Who are you?
I don't really know about that. I'm not a fan of Psylocke. I'm not really a
Or
fan of
who's
any iteration of Psylocke. I'm not even a fan of the Olivia Munn Psylocke.
I kind
Like
of like the Olivia Munn Psylocke.
I'm not a fan of her.
I kind of like.
Well, of course you did. Of course you did.
There was just something about her in that one. It's just.
I don't know about that.
Um.
She was in
Yeah.
she was in an outfit. She ain't had no ass. She really didn't have no fucking shape.
Yeah, but it's
She
like,
looked like a fucking board. She looked like a fucking plank in a fucking outfit, basically.
I would still have to.
I'm sorry, I can't. She looked like a fucking plank. I'd rather take the plank from Ed and Eddie over her. Johnny's Blank, remember?
Okay. There's a lot of girls in the Marvel universe who I would choose Plank over. Yeah, I'll go with the 2x4. Thanks a lot. I'll be fine. I'd rather get splinters on my dick than touch that. Like, there's literally nothing on this world that will make me do that. And that's what's kind of frustrating because, like, being a young guy and being like having standards. Oh, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, that's
shouldn't have
unacceptable.
standards.
Olivia Munn wasn't even attractive in that outfit. They could have got somebody else to fill out that outfit.
She wasn't, but I kind of felt bad. That's kind of why I would be like,
I didn't feel bad for her. Like
it's
a
okay.
good example of that is Scarlet Witch was more attractive in her outfit. Like if they got the chick to play.
Oh my god, I can't believe this thing just said Mystique. Like Mystique is such a. I mean, it's a good point to pick her because you just turn her into the girl that you want. But Mystique is like damaged.
Yeah, Mystique is
This is
damaged, but like,
Mystique is like the
but
kind of
this,
girl you
but
go for crazy sex, but you don't. The thing is, you're gonna be in a relationship with her. She's not gonna.
and the sad
She
part
is
about that,
very experienced.
yeah,
You're
the
getting
sad part
in
about
over your head.
Mystique is actually more attractive than Psylocke. Like without her doing the blue thing, Mystique is
Yeah,
more attractive than Psylocke.
but Mystique can't even like Mystique probably couldn't even cook. To
She
be
probably
honest,
can't. She probably can.
Mystique just sits on like she makes like 8 different Grubhub orders, all in their different aliases, and picks them bitches up.
right,
I
right.
thought about this too, because okay, here's a little bit of overhead for anybody who's doing that whole business. It's like a small business thing. It's like, so let's say that you're out of stock of whatever drink, beverage as an example, and then so the driver brings the set order with the swapped out beverages, and then the customer says flat out, I don't like want these beverages. I'm not going to accept them. I don't drink them. I don't drink anything else but what I drink.
Mm-hmm.
The driver basically pockets those beverages. Like they're like, all right, fine, like that's cool. I'll just get them. And so
Mm-hmm.
the customer is paying for that, paying the company to give that person basically free drinks.
Yeah, literally.
That's it. If that's pretty cool. That's pretty freaking cool. It's like a little bit of it's like a little tip that they get.
Corey, to be honest with you, that's actually not true because I've seen some really, really good looking women who have some ugly ass babies. And yes, there's a such thing as ugly ass babies.
Oh, babies are
No, not all
cute.
babies are cute. I'm sorry. There's some ugly ass babies.
Oh, look
Trust
at
me.
your
I have
baby.
a cousin on my mom's side that was an ugly ass baby. I actually have multiple cousins on my mom's side that was some ugly ass babies. I'm not shy to admit
Dude.
that. Like, yeah, no, there's I know some a
Yo,
lot of attractive women.
I'm sad
Based
we
on the men
didn't.
they picked, they came up with some ugly ass women. They came up
But
with some ugly ass
that's
babies.
the thing too. Like I hate this. I hate the double standards because it's like girls could just get to decide like, oh yeah, no kids. Yeah, it's okay to act all childish in front of them. It's okay to be like, oh, what did you do today? Oh. And which like I'm not saying like engaging kids is fine, but like they just go so over the top to where I'm like I cringe because I'm like why? Or like I saw this one girl take off her mask and put her face right into the baby's face and was like, "Hi!" And I was like so creeped out. I like had to look away.
Mm,
It was the creepiest thing I've ever seen. I'm not and
most
I'm
definitely.
I'm not over exaggerating. Like it actually made me get goosebumps. Because they're just like they have the capacity to just take children. That's what people don't understand. Women make great baby kidnappers. That's what you should
Yeah,
have
for
said,
real.
Corey.
Young women make great baby kidnappers. That's about it. Yeah, Wolverine probably could be MGTOW, most definitely. Wolverine, I can see Wolverine being MGTOW. He
I mean,
lost so much. He could
obviously,
be
it's
MGTOW.
gonna be a girl at the end of the day that makes a baby that potentially is great, but they don't like want a great child. They don't want a great person. They don't want to have to depend on or to
Well, women.
raise and
The
and
sad part
like
about that is,
rear a great
you still need a Y
two to
chromosome and an
tango.
X chromosome to actually
Yeah,
make a baby for the most part. So women
make a
don't make
male
great
baby.
babies.
Hmm.
Or two X's basically. They still need the two X's or the one Y and the X basically to make that baby. So therefore, they don't make great babies. They get help to make great babies. No, it doesn't matter. Young or old, women do have babies that have diseases. I know a woman that had a baby when she was younger that has cerebral palsy or
Hmm.
shit like that based on the fact that her life and what she was doing when she actually had the baby, if she was on any drugs, she's taking any other type
And
of
yeah,
medication that
like
gave her side
it's
effects, and her
it's
diet.
not in every case, but I mean, like the older a woman is, the more likely she's like develop better habits in life. Which is, I mean, if she started having kids early, that's definitely not a guarantee.
Because
But
a lot of the young women,
if
a
she
lot of because the
plans
sad part
right,
about that,
she could
yeah,
have a kid
yeah, but nine
successfully and
times out
have
of
it come
10,
out
but
fine. But
yeah,
still,
but the sad part about that, especially in this day and age with a lot of the women doing the shit that they're doing, a lot of these young women
oh yeah,
are
no
actually
way.
having fucked up children.
And
A
they're
lot of these young
literally
women.
like
Matter of fact,
they're adopted. They're setting putting
there's more younger women that actually having miscarriages than older women having miscarriages in this day and age. With all this
true, 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 true.
sexual revelation type shit, a lot of them are actually having fucked up babies
It's
basically, or
Assassin's
miscarriages.
Creed sexual revelation. It's like a
What?
fucked up game. No, I'm just cutting up.
Oh, you're simple as hell. But yeah, it's just one of those things where like you can't really say that when in fact women are doing stupid shit, especially the women that drink a lot during pregnancy. Your baby comes out alcoholic.
Right. I'm gonna quit smoking because I have a baby, and then I'm just gonna drink alcohol.
Yeah,
Wow.
literally, you drink alcohol now. Now your baby
Stop
suffers
it.
from
Get some
alcoholism.
help. Well, I mean, and like the best time to celebrate for a woman is when she is like pregnant, because that's the best thing that she could do. Not the best thing she could do for a man, but like that's one of the that's uh, it,
I don't think it's very hard for Wolverine to marry Wonder Woman. They're two totally different comic book business businesses basically. One is DC, the other one is Marvel.
Wolverine is MGTOW until he marries Wonder Woman. Well, wait, isn't Wolverine like?
Marvel.
Yeah, but he plays. I know he's in he German.
He's from Marvel either way.
No, I mean
Wonder
geographically.
Wo- no Wolverine's from Canada.
Like him and Sabretooth, are they brothers, but they're from Canada?
No, they're not brothers. They were never brothers in real life. They were just
Okay, I
basically
think that was some dumb movie thing then.
basically a nice plot ploy to actually make it more interesting. They were never
Well,
brothers.
then it's
They served
just like
together in
Magneto
military
and
together.
Professor Xavier were like they were like raised in the same camp or something in World
Yeah,
War
but the
II.
problem
Like
is
that's the thing.
apparently, but the sad part about that is Professor Xavier wasn't even Jewish,
No.
so he can't be raised in the same camp if he's not Jewish. Matter of fact, he didn't even live. He didn't even live in Germany. He didn't live nowhere near Germany. He lived
He
in
was
Great Britain.
British.
Yeah, he was British. And
Yeah,
British,
there's been
last I
some
checked,
weird
British wasn't
fuck shit.
overtaken.
They always like
Yeah,
tried to like unite the male characters so that they don't like have an individuality. They're like, oh, well, they were brothers, and then they betrayed each other, and then now they hate each other.
yeah,
It's like,
they were
wait,
good friends. Yeah, that's about it. Because what Charles helped him to hone his abilities and make him better. But other than that, no, they're not. They're not. They weren't never brothers. They were never ever brothers. In the actual comic book, they were never brothers. Just like Sabretooth and Wolverine were never brothers in the comic book. I like the comic book better than I like the movies because the movies always twist and distort shit to make it seem like it's more catchy. It's kind of like that one movie I seen. Was it Reverend?
the Revenant,
No, Reverend. The one with Leonardo DiCaprio played
the
that one.
Bears,
Huh?
the bear.
No, with the bear. Yeah, he got attacked by the bear.
That's the Revenant.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, that was a good movie. But
They do
however, yeah,
fictionalize a
he
lot
didn't
of
have
it.
a son. And
He did
the
have
guy
a
didn't have a
son.
son. He didn't have a son, and all the rest of the shit that went on in that, a lot of the other shit that went on in that movie was like bullshit, basically. And he didn't really need a protagonist to actually get back to where he needed to be, basically, because that's not how that actually happened. He basically got left for dead. He didn't have somebody trying to kill him. He just basically got left for dead, and he made it back. It's just facts. And nobody killed his son because he didn't have a son to kill. That's basically what they do with Hollywood movies anymore, so
They
they can
do.
get you to actually come watch the shit.
They make you buy into it. Yeah, exactly. Instead of
Like
like,
he didn't
oh
really need a
god, it's so
reason to
terrible.
actually kill that guy. He didn't even need a reason to actually survive. He basically just survived in real life. He didn't have no son to do it. He wasn't working off revenge. They basically made all that shit up so they can make it more dramatic, basically. When in fact the story was actually more dramatic than they actually made it off to be anyway.
Yeah, they were making a dramatization of a dramatization. But yeah, we've been holding people hostage way too long. We can end this now.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, I'm running off.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
You
It's
want to do
always
your
fun to
outro?
do these. Yeah, this is Baron Baron Yam, aka Barn Yam, aka Baton Yam.
Oh, you know what?
Like, share, and subscribe. ring the bell so you can know when we're doing another show. And if you like team roping or doing anything wrestling a steer, go over to sign up to watch the Baron Yam program over on Baron Yam. That's right. It's just like Tucker Carlson and Jordan Peterson. But if he was a little blazing dude sitting in a Honda.
Sick of
But
that.
anyways,
Sick of the visual.
but anyways, do what's right. Take the red pill. I think I was playing somebody from Arizona. Shout out to JD Miles. And JD Miles, thank you for roasting me. Okay, anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Y'all have a blessed night. It was a pleasure having you. It was a pleasure doing this for you. And it was a pleasure for y'all to come into my live stream and actually grace it in the comment section. Despite that, some of y'all got little outlandish in the live streams. I'm gonna need you to cut back on your wine intake, Corey. Still, but I appreciate everybody, and everybody have a great night, and y'all be
I
good.
love pretty girls. He's out.
And better yourselves, and always do everything. Better yourselves, treat yourselves, and do everything to better your health, your life, and your wealth. Bye, niggas. Bye.
Bye, niggas. Bye. God damn it.